Hey, everybody. We're running a little behind today. I had some times wrong, but we are live with the kohberger hearing for today. For those of you that are interested, jump on in and join us, folks. Here we go. Here we go. Oh, we're not running the intro. We're here. Thank you guys for joining us today. I appreciate you very much. Welcome, Miss Barbie, Barbara Hall, B. Williams, Doodlebugs in the house, Butterflies 71. Good to see you. B. Williams, Brandy B's in the house, Miss Wisdom. Let's see. Gold Bulldogs 93. Good to see you. Good to have you. Alicia J. Thank you guys. Andy Rose, come on in, guys. Always me, 1969. Please hit that like button if you will. Steven, welcome back to you, my friend. Good to see you. Good to have you here. And I won't make you guys wait on this. Here we go. Welcome, Miss Barbara. Thank you for joining us. Marie, how are you? Good to see you, Butterfly. I'm great. Miss Dakota, come on in, guys. Let's get busy. We may have to go back and watch it after the fact later, but I got it from the beginning, right where the secret witness is supposed to testify, folks. Quite interesting, if you ask me. If you will, guys, please make sure you hit that like button as you come through the door. Let's get this in that algorithm. Let's get this show on the road. Here we go. Miss Cluminati. Hello, hello. Thank you for joining us, Clue. I had the time wrong. I thought we had an hour before this was popping up, and I guess it's not because it's live and in person. Here's the secret witness getting ready to testify. Thank you for joining me, Clue.
Nice.
I caught it just in time, thanks to Doodle. So here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you give in this case shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth under penalty of perjury?
All right, thank you, sir. Go ahead and have a seat there. Once you're seated, please state your name and spell your last.
My name is Lawrence Mowry, Mowery.
All right, thank you, sir.
Oh, thank you.
This is Detective Mowry, you guys. If you remember the name, just so you know.
Will you tell us how you're employed?
I'm employed with the Moscow Police Department.
What is your role there?
I am a detective.
How long have you worked for Moscow Police Department?
I've worked for Moscow for over 5 years.
Have you been a detective that entire time?
I have.
And prior to that, did you have law enforcement experience?
Maybe
How many years total?
we have on 14.
Detective Mowry, did you take part in the investigation into the homicides on King Road?
Yes,
And what was your role?
a lot of different things. How to answer that.
Well, I can ask you about a couple of roles, maybe.
Sure.
Do you do any work with cell phones and cell towers?
I have taken training for cell phone analysis.
Was that one of the roles that you played in this investigation? All right. And the other area that I'd like to talk to you about is the collection of videotape evidence or surveillance evidence from around the community. What was your role in that?
So we gathered a lot of data, a lot of USBs, hard drives that came in. At one point, all of that was given to me so that I could copy it over to a server so that we had it stored and backed up.
Did you inventory it at that time as you got it in, I guess?
Don't have to say inventory. I used the evidence technician to help me book them individually at the time. Right, so the USB had the name of it on it. I would label the folder, what it was, and that came from it.
Did you have any role in verifying the content of the surveillance?
No.
I'm going to have a few questions about that, but I want to talk a little bit more about your role with cell phones and cell towers. So let's start there, okay? What training do you have for that role?
So some time ago, I went through what they say PATC training, which is cellular analysis, and I've also taken classes with CAS codes.
The cellular analysis, is that particular to the device itself, the cell phone device?
No. That
is particular to towers?
To the towers and the providers themselves.
When did you take that training?
Well, the CAS, I believe it was in 2019, and then I also did it again last year.
And the CAS that you took in 2019, that was the ENDICAC, is that right?
That was phenomenal again.
And the CAS that you took last year was October of 2023, is that correct?
Yes.
And that was the actual CAS training.
They were both done by actual cast members. I'm not sure if one was sponsored by the other, but they were both performed by FBI cast members.
And Your Honor, if I can approach.
Yes, thank you.
Detective Mallory, I'm putting in front of you what's labeled as Defendant's Exhibit O, and those are 2 certificates for training. Is that correct?
Yes,
All right, the one that's from 2019, what did that cover?
that covered the use of the Castbiz software.
And what did the one in 2023 cover?
The second,
Your Honor, I move for admission of Defendant's O.
The objection?
No objection.
Okay, those are exhibit, oh, no objection. Thank you.
The Detective Mallory, how many total hours do those certificates represent of CAST training?
I apologize, I didn't look, it was a week long, it was actually a couple of days each time. 2 days a piece of
Do you
please.
need this?
But so the 2019 shows 24 hours, 2023 says 16 hours.
Thank you, Detective.
Thank you.
Detective, you've written some reports in this case, is that correct?
Yes,
I want to talk about 2 particular reports right now. One is from May the 5th of 2023. Do you recall that report, or should I bring a copy of that to you?
if you helpful that up.
I can definitely do that. You can show it to Ms. Jennings.
We have a jury next door,
Okay.
just so you know, that's all about.
Detective Mallory, does that appear to be your report from May 5th of 2023?
Yes,
And Your Honor would move for admission of defendants P,
That's P,
like Paul?
all right, any objection? Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Exhibit P is admitted, no objection.
Thank you, Your Honor. Detective Mallory, I do not have a police report for the other one that I want to talk about today. It's one that I received via email today that was written just within the last few days by you, probably. Do you know what report I'm talking about?
yes.
Okay. Now, what I want to understand is we're talking about documents or records or logs that can be created by a CastBiz program. The report that you wrote that I received today, when did you learn about those documents that exist according to that report?
The session logs that I found were from yesterday.
Why did you come to find them yesterday?
I was preparing for this hearing.
Okay. And those are things that existed for quite some time, is that correct?
They did.
And when you wrote about your work with CastBiz in May of 2023, did you document those items?
No,
Tell me what you found when you were preparing for the motion to compel today.
I found session logs that were sent to me from the FBI.
All right. And in those session logs, how many files were there?
I don't remember, I think there were 6 or 7 different items inside.
Did you look at the CastBiz 48-hour file?
I don't remember if I did an exam of reception.
Did you look at it yesterday in preparation for this hearing?
I attempted to.
All right. And how about the CAS biz full log?
I attempted to yesterday.
I noticed in your report that there were several items that you listed. Were those from these CAS biz logs that you attempted to look at yesterday?
I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to, you need to speak up a little bit, or just telling me to pick up a little bit.
There were some files that were in the session logs, there were other files that were not.
Well, let's start with the 48-hour. What was contained in there?
There's older 48 hours that was the AT&T records, the original records. And there's a 48-hour session log. I don't know which one you're after.
Let's go with the session log. What was in there?
Appeared to be the AT&T records that possibly were inputted, as well as some JSON files that were probably produced by customers.
JSON files were produced by CAS biz. Is that right?
I would assume that I didn't create those files.
What date were they created?
I believe one was in December. The other was in April.
December of what year?
22,
And April of what year?
23.
Could you tell who created those?
I could not.
How did you get those?
I was provided those via email.
By who?
Mid balance of the FBI.
What did you do with those?
Even as soon as I realized they were in my possession, I had contacted the prosecutor and gave them.
And that would be just yesterday, is that correct?
Yes,
What did you do with them prior to that time?
they were sent to me. I put them in a folder and I didn't do anything else with them. That's why I forgot them.
Okay, and that was the 48-hour file?
48-hour session log, yes.
How about the full file? What was contained in there?
Similar items to the 48.
What is the full file?
I believe that was the second AT&T return that we got via warrant. I wasn't able to open it to verify it.
That brings up a question for clarification. When you say second warrant return, are you talking about something that relates to Bryan Kohberger?
Yes, there was 2 warrants that were originally written, one that covered a 48-hour period for the cell phone number, and there was one that was later done for a longer period of time.
And those are what you're referring to as the warrants 1 and warrant 2.
Correct. One for 48 and one for the longer period.
In the report that I just received today, there was reference to a loped bar file. What's that?
It is a file that I received from Agent Balance.
When did you receive that?
Honestly, the modification or the email, I honestly don't remember. Unfortunately, it was yesterday and I didn't throw this stuff together, so.
Okay. So that was one that you just found yesterday?
Yes,
Okay. Did you open that?
I don't recall opening it. If I did, I don't recall doing it.
How about the CDR.s.xlsx file? Was that, and CDR, what does that stand for?
All detail records,
Did you open that?
I don't remember if I did not.
Did you open it yesterday?
I don't remember. I was looking for it. Once I found them, I was trying to figure out how they came into my presence or in my possession. That's what I started to focus on.
Okay. How about the export.kmz file? When did you find that file?
I had found that one yesterday,
Do you know when that came into your possession?
some time ago.
Did you open that?
I believe I did on my laptop.
What did that show you?
It showed me different locations and so forth on a map.
Those 3 files that we just talked about, along with the CASViz 48 and the CASViz full, are those copied so that I can have those now?
Yes,
And you referred to emails. How many emails did you find when you were preparing for this hearing?
I believe there was 5.
Are those included for me to have now as well?
Yes,
Thank you. In the report that I received today, there was a reference to drawings.json file. What's that?
It was a JSON file that was inside the casted session.
What does that depict?
It's just data that casted would use, I'm guessing, to replot something on the map to actually show locations or other things.
Did you do anything with that file when you found it yesterday?
I did open that file, yes.
Okay. What did that show you when you opened it?
There were references to 2 locations inside.
When you open it, does it just say here's 2 references, or what does it show you when you open it?
It's different code, but there is some plain language or plain English, plain text inside of that code that show 2 addresses.
Did you use that file? Well, let me ask this first. That file that contains code, do you use that with the CastBiz program?
I attempted to load the session file in its entirety and received errors, so I was not able to. That's why I went into the JSON file to see if there was something I could see reference.
Is that file usable?
I'm sure it is somewhere.
What is the restriction for you?
I don't know what restriction it is. I don't know what to do with that file outside of, if I could possibly bring it into the CastBiz. I tried to pull it in as a combined session log, which is what I was trained to do. So I didn't get that. I didn't pull that file.
Is that file available on a Discovery Drive for me?
I did the prosecutor today.
Thank you. In the report that I just got today, there's a reference to another CastBiz session and some screenshots. What is that about?
I believe you're talking about just the regular 48 hours folder.
I don't know. I'm curious.
So that I provided 2 folders. One was CastBiz and one was just my last name of Maori. That was to differentiate the files that I found that were provided to me and the folder of the files that I use to create this report.
Okay. CastBiz is the files that you found while preparing,
Correct.
and the one that says Maori is what you used to create your May 3rd report of 2023.
Yes.
Okay, I think I understand that now. In that file, I think your report said you found screenshots dated April 19th of 2023.
Yes.
All right. Does that mean that's the day that you put things into your CastBiz program?
That was the day that I made the screenshots themselves.
Okay. Where are those screenshots now? Are those also included on the drive?
Yes.
Okay. And then your report dated 5/3 says that you were asked to examine the record. So I'm a little confused if you had something that you took screenshots of on 4/19, but on 5/3 you were asked to examine the record. What were you doing on 4/19 or before to get those screenshots?
So I was tasked, the date was May 3rd for the report. It's not the date that I asked.
Okay. What day were you asked to do?
I do not remember. I'm gonna guess that it was somewhere around April 19th. That's when the screenshots were created.
Okay. Let's talk about that time frame then and what you did. Did you actually use a CastBiz program at that time to create something?
Yes.
The CastBiz program that you used at that time, and we're talking about springtime of 2023, we'll call it April for now, if that's fair. What training had you received by then to do this CastBiz program?
The 2019 training.
Okay. With the CastBiz program, what's the first thing that you did?
Once the program is open, you can drag and drop the CPR records into the program.
CDR means call detail records.
Right.
Did you do just 48-hour records or did you do full records in April of 2023?
I only did 48 hours.
When you put the records in, those are the call detail records and those relate to what?
To the phone that the records were coming back to.
The number you associated with Bryan Kohberger.
Correct.
Okay. After you put those call detail records in, do you have to do anything with cell towers?
With the AT&T, no, because the cell tower locations are in the AT&T CDR.
Okay. So you put that record in, the tower locations are already part of the call detail record that you put in.
Yes,
Is that something that you have electronic on your computer and then you open your CastFish program and just import it into the program?
yes, AT&T provides both PDF and text documents of the files. And I use the text document to put into CastFish to have it adjusted.
And when you do that, what gets exported?
Nothing. At that point, nothing is exported or created that I know of.
Can you export the session that you're working on?
You can export a session log, yes.
Did you do that?
No.
How did you create screenshots?
By using the built-in Windows snip tool, as well as the built-in Windows game console, I believe they call it the game bar, which is just accessed by hitting Windows G, that allows you to record your screen.
Are those the only two things you did, is screen clip and screen record?
Yes,
How many times did you use call detail records in the CastViz program?
probably a dozen times. I'm not entirely sure.
That was a terrible question. How many times did you use the CastViz program in relation to Bryan Kohberger's call detail records?
I don't know.
More than once?
I recall doing it for the grand jury because I wasn't the main lead in the call detail records investigation.
I don't understand what that means.
I wasn't the main person looking at those call detail records.
You weren't the main person with the call detail records, but you put them in the CastViz program anyway?
For the grand jury, I was requested.
Okay. What did you rely on in producing those? Producing whatever you produced for the grand jury?
Rely on what did I produce? As far as the AT&T records,
I want to know what you relied on to do that, to produce something for the grand jury.
I don't understand the question.
Okay. You weren't the main guy with the call detail records or with the CastViz programming. Did I understand that much right?
There was another investigator that was doing that.
Okay. But you end up involved in it somehow in April of 2023, is that right?
That's when I was asked to examine the data to provide that for the grand jury.
Okay. Was that all of your instruction?
What do you mean by that?
Well, you're asked by somebody else who's actually doing this part of the investigation in the case to produce something for the grand jury to use. And I'm
That's
curious
the
about
prosecutor.
what you relied on, to get to that point. I want to know all the records you relied on, all of the emails, all of the conversations you relied on to produce this thing that you're not the expert for.
So I wrote the affidavit for the AT&T records, received the AT&T records. Those records were also given to another investigator who was the main investigator doing the CDR records. Prosecution then asked me to provide or create some type of visualization of the call detail records and examine the call detail records for the 4 hours in question. That
Just to be really sure, when you talked about writing the 2 warrants for AT&T, we're talking about 2 warrants that relate to Bryan Kohberger. There were a lot of other warrants. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay,
Yes.
I just want to be really clear on that. You've taken the CAST training. Is that right?
Yes.
And you know there's a way to save your session. Is that correct?
Yes.
And there's also a way just to hit reset and delete your session. Do you know that part too?
Mhm.
And back in April, when you were creating something for the grand jury, you hit reset. Is that right?
Or I just deleted the files out of it. I don't remember if I had reset or delete. You can delete them individually as well.
You don't remember which thing you did,
I do.
but you decided to delete what you'd created.
I don't know. I didn't delete anything. I didn't create the session log, so I don't know how I was doing it. You delete the reference of the file in the software, but the file itself is not deleted.
I want to make sure I understand. The record, the AT&T record still exists. You didn't delete that.
Correct.
But the session, when you put that in to the CAST Viz program, and it does its thing with the call detail records, which includes tower references, you either deleted that session or you chose to reset. Did I understand that right?
Didn't create a session log. I don't know how I would delete it. I just removed the reference to the file, the main file, from the software at some point. I don't know when I did that.
You don't know when you did that?
Okay, but you can close the software without hitting reset or delete.
And then it would just stay there.
I believe it.
And you can also export your session if you get interrupted and you want to come back and work on it, right?
Yes.
Okay. Did you do that? You left it up and running at some point and then did something that didn't save it. Is that right?
The session log was never created. Did not create a session log. The CDR records that I was dealing with is relatively small. There's no need to do that because I can ingest the files right back into Cascades in a short amount of time.
Your Honor, just for clarity, may I approach? I have another exhibit to show him. I'll give it to you, Your Honor. Thank you. Are you familiar with the document that was handed to you that's marked Defendants W?
Yes,
And have you seen that before?
I have.
Is that something that you were taught from the CAST Users Guide?
I'm sure I was. It's also included in the software that can be readily accessed.
Okay. And Your Honor, we've moved for admission of Defendants W.
Thank you. No objection. Okay, that exhibit W is presented.
Thank you.
No objection.
In your training, were you also taught from the CAST Field Users Guide?
I believe so.
And I'm about ready to switch gears on you and talk a little bit more about videos for a second, but if I can have just one moment, Your Honor.
Sure. Thank you.
Okay, let's switch gears for just a minute. You, during the course of your work, did you make contact with the Idaho Department of Transportation to talk about some of the cameras that cover main roads coming into and out of Moscow.
Yes,
And did you attempt to make preservation of any items?
did.
What items did you want preserved?
I was trying to see if they had saved video or still images from those spots
What did you learn?
that they do not retain those.
Did you, when you say they do not retain those, do you mean they don't retain videos or pictures or both?
Well,
Did you do a preservation for anything?
not recall studying actually the preservation letter out.
Okay. Your Honor, if I can have another exhibit provided.
Yes, thank you.
I have to agree, truth. I think something's coming here in a minute. Thank you, Zelda.
What do you recognize that exhibit?
So these are emails that I was trying to find some kind of contact information for windy.com. A website that does weather related information as well as has some links to images from cameras that are covering the highway.
And did you learn that you could have some still shots preserved?
I did.
Did you have some still shots preserved?
I did not.
Okay. Your Honor would move for admission of defendants PP.
Thank you. That's what, I'm sorry, PP?
Double P, yes.
That's what I thought. Okay. Exhibit PP is exhibit or admitted, no objection.
When we started talking, we talked about you kind of being the guy that would book or take videos in from different agencies, even if you didn't verify what was on the device you received. Is that right?
Yes.
And do you, I have a specific one a couple of them I want to ask you about. One is from Red Star Coffee Shop. Do you recall receiving that video?
I did not.
Okay. And are you aware that it was hooked in or brought in by Idaho State Police?
No.
How would I find out about those videos?
I don't know. You'd have to go through the USB drives to find out what was given. I was just given the mass USB drives. I was not given them by the people that were bringing them in for time. Given to them after it had been handed off to other investigators and other assistants that were helping bring copies.
Is there somebody else I should ask about specific ones to track where they went?
I don't know.
Thank you, Zelda.
Okay. All right, give me just a minute, Your Honor.
Sure.
Thank you, Detective Mallory. I don't have any other questions for now, but hold on, the prosecutor might.
Thank you, Ms. Taylor. Ms. Jennings, Mr. Thompson,
Ms. Jeans.
okay, Ms. Jennings.
Mallory, I want to go back and talk a little bit about this CastBiz program. Can you explain to me generally, what is CastBiz?
It's just a software that is useful in creating visualizations of the call detail records.
Okay. So how is it useful? What does it show?
It shows the location and the direction of the cell towers and their sector antennas.
Okay. Now, what version of CastBiz do you have?
Currently, I think I have 33 on my laptop. It's prompted me to update to 38. But at the time, I believe I had 30 installed.
So walk me through. You start up the software program,
Yes,
and then what do you do?
drag the text file from the CDRs into the system. It ingests the files and then produces a display of that data.
Okay. And is that what you did on the 19th?
Yes,
And then what did you do with that visual that was displayed?
those visuals, I created screenshots, created the screen capture of the video. CastBiz also allows a timeline playing view that you can record separate from Windows built in software. Save those.
Other than uploading the CDRs, did you change any of the settings on CastBiz?
The only thing that I would have done was gone in and changed made sure that the time was correct because they were coming in at the TC. It was a coordinated time. I wanted to make sure that those were representative of the local time.
All right, so you just changed it to Pacific.
Correct.
Any other changes?
No.
Okay. So you were talking about how it does not automatically save.
It does not.
Okay. And you chose not to save.
No. And in the exhibit that was provided, the actual text says that if you need to save a session file.
And can you tell me, why didn't you save these settings?
I was creating the visualization exhibits. That's what I was doing with that.
Any reason to save the settings?
No.
Could this be recreated or redone in the same fashion?
Yes, I can, again, open the software, drag the CDRs back in, and in a very short time it is generated.
And it would give you the same information?
Yes,
Is that why you didn't save it?
yes.
I want to switch over to the other session files that you found. Were those session files created by you?
No.
Okay. And did you ever use those?
No.
And have you now turned those over, provided those?
Yes,
Now I want to switch gears over to what we were discussing as windy.com. What is that? What is Windy?
it's a website that is available for weather and such.
Okay. And why is that relevant in this case?
We were directed by, I think it was Captain Corporal Payne that told me that we should look into windy.com.
And why is that?
Just to see if they retained video from the cameras themselves.
Okay, so windy.com has cameras.
They have screenshots. They basically capture the ITD cameras and put them on their website. Those images are routinely purged from their site for the administration of that.
Okay. And can you explain to me, when are those, you talked about them being purged from their site? What's that schedule?
From going on their website yesterday, it's a public website, so I was able to go back to it. I don't remember exactly. I believe that within 24 hours, it's hourly. Within a week, it's daily within 12 months, it's monthly, and then after that, I was seeing probably like 3 months or so.
Can you explain why you didn't preserve those images from Wendy.com?
When it was discussed with other investigators, we wrote the volume gotten, I believe it was one image per day. Time frame wasn't where we were interested in, so we didn't capture that once.
So there is no evidentiary value.
None that we did.
Okay. And have you since gone back and found some screenshots?
Yes,
It's what's available on the publicly available website,
anyone can go to wendy.com and grab screenshots there.
and you've now done that.
I have,
Anything of evidentiary value?
no,
Have those been turned over anyway?
yes.
I just have 1 second.
Sure.
I don't have any further questions.
Thank you. Need me to that?
Yes, just a bit. You were just speaking with the prosecutor about the images from Wendy.com. And I thought you didn't preserve anything or go back and look at anything during your investigation. Did I misunderstand that?
So yesterday when I was directed by the prosecutor,
Okay, so yesterday the prosecutor said, go look for these things.
yes,
But before that, you and other investigators decided not to. Did I get that right?
with the information that we were given, we were told that there would be a screenshot for the day, if I remember right, the parameters of. We did not grab those because they were not in the. Didn't see that they would be relevant.
But you didn't look back then. You waited until yesterday. Is that right?
No, we looked back then. I couldn't tell you what time. Most of the photos that were taken for the daily screenshot or the daily screenshots were daytime, middle of the day kind of thing. So we didn't grab those at the time.
Okay, but you did look at the time and made a decision at the time. Do I understand that now?
Yes.
Okay. Back to the cast viz for a couple of questions for you. When you were doing the work back in April of 2023, did you see maps on the screen with the work that you were doing?
Yes.
And you also made a video of that. I want to show you a map and see if it's what I think it is. You have defendants R in front of you. What is that?
Appears to be a screen capture of the cast is software.
Is that a screen capture from a map that you made?
Yes.
All right. Your Honor would move for admission of defendants R.
Action.
No.
Exhibit R is submitted, no objection.
And are you aware that when you can see mapping on your
Hold up, folks. I don't know what just happened. Hold on. Good God. Hold up.
Good.
Wow.
Oh, you know what I bet they did? They must have shut something out. Wait.
Well, you weren't live with it either, and as soon as they get done streaming it, it goes away.
Yeah, but if there's more of it here, it just won't show it to me now. Hold up. What the flip? It's gonna be restreamed. I'm just saying, like, I have to wonder if they shut something out of this and took it down because there's still more to go. Like that, I can see it on my side, but I can't. It won't let me play it. Either way, this was kind of telling, folks. Other channels lost connection too. Yeah, see, I think because I'm looking here on my cursor, but it just won't let me. It's the judge is saying something and I can't play it. Damn you! Say it. Show me. He's still
I
on
mean,
the
we
bench.
weren't supposed to see it, right?
Were we not? I thought that it's privated now. See, they're done streaming. Okay, it'll be up again. Law and Crime and Court TV will have it, and I'll pick it up. Hold on a minute. And he's on the bench all the way through this whole thing. Now, is there another hearing today too that they have completely privated? Yeah, everybody locked out. It went down on everybody's thing. So I'm wondering if there was something more that was said.
It didn't. If you pull up JLR's, he got the whole thing.
Was it? Okay, hold on. Damn
And
it.
then back it up a couple of minutes.
Yep. Hold on, guys. Sorry, folks. Come on, Jonathan. Where it is. About right. This guy is so shady. Detective Mowry. All right, let's see where we were.
Hold on, the prosecutor might.
Am I before or after this?
Thanks, Mr. Thompson.
It was after that.
All right, hold up.
Files and then produces a display of it. What I've done was gone in and changed made sure that the time was correct because they submitted the TC. It was a coordinated time. I want to make sure that those were representative of the whole time.
Alright, so you just changed it to Pacific.
Correct.
Any other changes?
Is this about right?
So you were talking about how it does not automatically save.
It does not.
Okay. And you chose not to save.
No, and in the exhibit that was provided, the actual text says that if you need to save a session file.
And can you tell me, why didn't you save these settings?
I was creating the visualization exhibits. That's what I was doing with that.
Any reason to save the settings?
No.
Could this be recreated or redone in the same fashion?
Yes, I can, again, open the software, drag the CDRs back in, and very short time it is generated.
And it would give you the same information?
Yes.
Is that why you didn't save it?
Yes.
I want to switch over to the other session files that you found. Were those session files created by you?
No.
Okay. And did you ever use those?
No.
And have you now turned those over, provided those?
Yes.
Now I want to switch gears over to what we were discussing as windy.com. What is that? What is Windy?
It's a website that is available for weather and such.
We're way past this, aren't we?
And why is that relevant in this case?
We were directed by.
No, because you just explained what windy.com was, which we didn't know, but now we do.
Okay.
And
Yes.
why is
Thank
that?
you. Sorry.
Just to see if they retained video from the cameras themselves.
Okay, so windy.com has cameras.
They have screenshots. They basically capture the ITD cameras and put them on their website. Those images are routinely purged from their site for the administration of that.
Okay. And can you explain to me, when are those, you talked about them being purged from their site? What's that schedule?
From going on their website yesterday, it's a public website, so I was able to go back to it. I don't remember exactly. I believe that within 24 hours, it's hourly. Within a week, it's daily. Within 12 months, it's monthly. And then after that, I believe I'm seeing probably like 3 months or so.
Can you explain why you didn't preserve those images from Wendy.com?
When it was discussed with other investigators, we would have only gotten, I believe it was one image per day. Time frame wasn't where we were interested in, so we didn't capture that once.
So there is no evidentiary value.
None that we did.
Okay. And have you since gone back and found some screenshots?
Yes,
It's what's available on the publicly available website,
anyone can go to wendy.com and grab screenshots there.
and you've now done that.
I have,
Anything of evidentiary value?
no,
Have those been turned over anyway?
yes.
I just have 1 second.
Sure.
I don't have any further questions.
Thank you. Need me to do that?
Yes, just a bit. You were just speaking with the prosecutor about the images from wendy.com. And I thought you didn't preserve anything or go back and look at anything during your investigation. Did I misunderstand that?
So yesterday when I was directed by the prosecutor,
Okay, so yesterday the prosecutor said, go look for these things.
yes,
But before that, you and other investigators decided not to. Did I get that right?
with the information that we were given, we were told that there would be a screenshot for the day, if I remember right, the parameters of. We did not grab those because they were not in the. Didn't see that they would be relevant.
But you didn't look back then. You waited until yesterday. Is that right?
No, we looked back then. I couldn't tell you what time. Most of the photos that were taken for the daily screenshot or the daily screenshots were daytime. They looked at days kind of thing. So we didn't grab those at the time.
Okay, but you did look at the time and made a decision at the time. Do I understand that now?
Yes.
Okay. Back to the cast viz for a couple of questions for you. When you were doing the work back in April of 2023, did you see maps on the screen with the work that you were doing?
Yes.
And you also made a video of that. I want to show you a map and see if it's what I think it is. You have defendants R in front of you. What is that?
Appears to be a screen capture of the cast is software.
Is that a screen capture from a map that you made?
Yes.
All right. Your Honor would move for admission of defendants R.
Action,
No, no.
Exhibit R is submitted, no objection.
And are you aware that when you can see mapping on your screen on this program that there's a log created? You would agree that if I were to take the call detail records that have the tower report in them, I would have to have the same cast version you were using to recreate what you did. Would you agree with that?
I have to have, if I took the regular cell call detail records and put them into a different version of cast, are you saying that it would become different?
Well, I don't know. That's a good question. Let me try to be more clear about the one I was asking, and then I like yours. We might talk about your question as well. My question is, and the prosecutor suggested that your work be recreated. And so it didn't matter that you hadn't saved your session. What I want to know is if I have the 48-hour call detail records that contain the tower list like you have, do I have to have the cast viz program that you used so I can see what you did?
I don't know, because I don't know what the back end of the cast is software does. I'm just a user, so I don't know.
And you were in this cast viz program, at least for a while, creating exhibits that would be relied on. Is that right?
Yes.
On more than one occasion. Is that right?
Yes.
But you didn't save your work.
did not create a session log. That's even need.
Would you agree? I can't see what you did without your session log. Can't examine what you did without your session log.
It's there to create the visualizations for the exhibits. That's what I use as.
But I can't see what you did. Is that right? Is that right?
No.
No, it's not right, or no, I can't see what you did.
You cannot, but I could take those cell data or call data records, put them into assets again. Results would be what they are because we're still using the same records from AT&T to create
Have you done that?
these records.
Yes.
No.
Thanks, that's it.
Okay, thank you. Anything on that, Ms. Jennings?
Thank you, Barbie, so very much.
Can we go, why did you pull the CDRs into Castus?
Why did I do that in April? Because I was asked by you to do it for the tender.
Okay, is that the only reason you did it?
Yes.
Is that the only time you did it?
Yes.
Okay.
That I remember. I mean,
I don't have anything further.
Follow up on that question?
Nope, thank you.
Okay, great. Can this witness be excused?
Yes, please.
Any objection? Okay, great. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yes, thank you. All right, you are excused, but you can stay if you like. Okay, next witness.
Your Honor, the rest of the witnesses will be present and ready to go on the 30th, to the very best of my knowledge. This was the only witness we needed to accommodate with today's hearing. So thank you for that.
Okay, thank you. So we're done for today?
We're done for today, Your Honor.
Wow, okay. Ms. Jennings, agreed?
Agreed.
Okay. Yes, what are you, hold on. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Beth. So I have a whole bunch of documents that is not clear whether I should sign the ceiling or not, because there's no stipulation and there's no hearing, but we're all here together. So can we just go through this and clear it up? Yes? Sure. Sure. Okay, so the first one I have is motion to temporarily seal supplemental response to defendant's fourth and response to fifth motions to compel and motion to limit scope of testimony. And I have not signed that because there was no stipulation or agreed.
Your Honor, I apologize. I thought we had agreed, those have the detailed exhibits attached to them, and I thought we'd stipulated that those detailed exhibits could be sealed.
Okay, well, the addition on that was limited scope of testimony, so I wasn't sure if that was included in our earlier agreement.
Your Honor, that's the state's motion. I know we responded to that and we did not seal our response to that.
Okay. State is asking for sealing on that. Are we on the same page? You know what I'm talking about? Okay. Just want to know if I should sign this or not.
Well, I'm just not sure. Is there an objection? It's the state's motion to seal. Is there an
Right.
objection from defense to seal?
No, if they want their documents sealed, that's fine. We had responded publicly, and so I
Yeah.
wondered if that changed.
Okay, so I'll sign this. That's one. I just don't want to get in trouble with your arguments about sealing and not sealing. Okay, I just want to be very clear on the record.
Thank you for that.
Plus is piling up with the clerk. Okay, next one is also the state's, oh, this is the one that's sealed. Got that taken care of. Got another one from the state, a motion to temporarily seal exhibits 1 of state second supplemental response, etc. Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. These battles are getting along, I have to say. Fine. Clear. Okay, that is one. Okay. This is the same.
Thank you guys so very much. All of you guys. I appreciate you very much.
I think that's it. Okay, anything else we need to talk about? Before we run?
Nothing from us.
Okay, well, thank you all. You're adjourned. Appreciate it.
Okay. We are back. Quite interesting. I'll say that much. I did not expect this guy to be speaking on anything, but I guess I should have expected it. Thank you, Brandy. Thank you guys, everybody, for the congrats on the 9,000. It's all you guys, and I got to be honest with you, Clue and Cletus have been running my chat and or my link in their chat nonstop, so I got to thank them again, like insanely. I really appreciate you guys, all of you guys, for pushing this and doing this and subscribing and telling others about. It's amazing. You guys are absolutely. I can't even express the thanks I have and the appreciation I have for it. You guys are just amazing. It's just I can't even. It's overwhelming. I'll be honest, because I never thought I'd get to this point ever when I started this. I'm at 9,044 already. So
I had no doubts.
I do. I did.
I questioned it quite a bit. I
Mhm.
wondered why you didn't go backwards personally, but
Oh, he's in here still. Shit, damn it.
I've been quiet the whole time. You know what I'm saying? I'm learning.
So what do you let's go into this now. What do we think of that hearing, guys? One at a time, or however. What's everybody's thoughts on this? Thank you again, Barbie. And Miss Sherry, thank you again for that. Yes, we need a bigger, good old grandma Dago pot is what I'm calling it. One of them big ones for the sauce. The sauce. So, oh wow, Evie Marie, 12 months. That is so very awesome. Thank you guys once again, very, very much. So I guess let's start with the one that needs the most room. Truths. What's your hold on a minute here. Get a look, see 1999 super sticker. Thank you so much for that. Get a look. Appreciate you very much for that. And Evie, congrats again for 12 months, a whole year dealing with my big mouth. I appreciate you very much. We're so happy to have you in this family, in this community. You are amazing. Thank you again. So, Mr. BFH Media, what do you think, sir?
Well, first of all, I'm trying to figure out the relationship between the judge and Ann. They were pretty much eye fucking each other the entire time, so that's interesting. The smirks, you know me, guys. I'm a face person. I watch people's physical reactions, and that shit was priceless. I'll say that he had no business, the detective had no business putting anything in the PCA or the cast report that he didn't verify himself. And that's going to be really, really, really hard, in my opinion, for him to testify to in court. Right. Furthermore, she pretty much hung him when it comes to the cast report because he didn't keep any of the work that he was doing. He didn't keep any. He deleted things that now she can't go back and see how he got to what he got to, what they used to get there, what information is there. And
I'm curious about that too, as to why he did that. You know,
I mean, come on now, what do you mean? This whole this, and I'm just going to go out on a limb here, right? Okay, so let's say you've botched this entire investigation. You have a whole different theory. You're running on all different information. Maybe you interpreted the information wrong. Maybe somebody else twisted the information a little bit. So you come up with the original cast report. You realize, oh shit, this is going to expose us. So you delete it and reformulate one. That's her point. Her point is, I want to see what you deleted. I want to see what was on that report. And I want to know when you deleted it, how you deleted it, blah, blah, blah.
yeah,
There's no way for her to do that now. So essentially, what that detective did was tampered with physical evidence.
Right.
that's
That's
what
what he did.
Yeah,
He tampered with physical evidence, and in doing that, very well could have just given her everything she needed for him to walk. I don't think anybody understands just how important it is when a detective has to admit that he didn't follow basic detective protocol.
What'd I say? Agreed. Bobby says he used an outdated version of the cast software as well. That's kind of interesting. This whole thing, and you could almost tell, in my opinion at least, by the way he was answering, he was very uncomfortable answering those questions.
Mm-hmm.
We tried to play the dumbass. That's what I don't
I
understand.
saw.
Like,
Yep.
I said in the comments, I was like, do you see the massive difference in the transition of his personality, his voice, when he started answering the prosecution's questions?
Yeah.
Very direct, very sharp. One time, I think he said, "I'm not sure," but then followed it up with a date, right? Which means you absolutely are sure because you gave a date. But anytime Ann would ask specifics, which would to me sound very basic to the, if you're going to use a cast program and you're going to use this in a 4 different lives being lost, well, once again, do not add anything into a report that you are signing on if you yourself didn't verify it.
I can agree.
And also, Ann needs to take that pantsuit to the dry cleaners and get it hemmed up. That shit wasn't looking right when she was stepped out from behind that little desk.
I think she's lost some weight, is what I think happened.
Well,
Probably.
she needs to go find a hem.
She looks
Anyway.
thinner than she did. So Jen is asking, is there a way for the software company or the server provider to pull from their end? That's a good question, Jen.
I would assume that there's some real heavy securities that the manufacturer
Right.
of the program couldn't have access to federally sealed documents.
I would imagine that there should be, of course.
Now, the only thing they could do, and this would be and they may actually have an argument for it. Y'all going to think I'm crazy for saying this. They could request all of the electronics that were used in creating that cast report, have a warrant put for them so they can go over them and really do an inside dive into what was erased.
Mm-hmm.
And then that puts the feds on a table that I don't know that they want to be on.
Yeah.
Oh,
True. I agree. Miss Sherry says that she thinks that cast will probably be thrown out, in her opinion. I mean,
they'll never throw that out without getting him out of jail first.
They don't need the cast thrown out.
What'd you say, Cletus?
They don't need the cast thrown out. This isn't about the cast at all. She's using the cast as what I'm seeing is she's going after him because of the cast, because at the end of the day, that's the least damning piece of evidence they have.
Yeah.
But if he mishandled and didn't do things right with that, then everything else he touched can
It's
start
going to come in.
to unravel.
Yeah,
The
and
cast doesn't matter because the only thing the cast ever did was insinuate he stalked, which Bill Thompson admitted in court we all know he didn't do. So the cast is useless anyway, but it is useful for the defense to show mishandling of evidence, misprocessing evidence, and things like that.
yeah, and like Salty said, he sat there on the stand and named by name the FBI agent that gave him that cast, and it was the same one that testified in the Daybell trial. So that was interesting as well. I did not think he would drop a name like that. That kind of shocked me. I'll say that personally, but I don't know. Maybe it's just the way I think of it's different. I don't know.
So is that him implying that the FBI are the ones that fumbled the ball and it wasn't local law enforcement?
Well, they did consult with them.
Yeah.
But by throwing the FBI agent's name out there, it's almost saying, look, go talk to him. He's the one who effed up.
Yeah. I could see it that way.
Yeah.
Especially when it's my understanding that the FBI didn't want to respond to the subpoena that they got, and they didn't want to participate in the trial.
Well, I think we've been talking about the FBI, the mistakes they made, or for lack of the things they did, I guess, for quite a while at this point. With the DNA and all that other crap. So, Salty says not exactly. All I know is that this is a little bit more than what I expected to hear today. I'll be honest with you, and yeah, you can have a link. There you go, Salty. Hopefully it'll work. If not, I'll give you the number again. I'd love to hear from you, of course. There's the link right there, ma'am. And I'm sorry, folks. I did come in late because I had the hour. I thought it was going to be in an hour from when it started, and thank God for Doodles. She sent it down. I was like, oh, shit. So I hurried up and went live with everything. That's why we missed out on the intro. Leave it to me. So anyway, I'm sorry. But we got it all in. Most finally, yes. And I want to talk about it. You know, like it was not something I expected. I did not expect this at all. All right, let's see if this works. Can you hear me? Hello, Miss Salty.
I can hear you, but as usual, I get this crazy loop echo thing.
Hold on. Let me do this then. How about now?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes. Here, let me do this.
Hold on, it's not even you, Dago. Let me tell her what it is. So go to are you on a laptop and a computer, like a screen?
I'm on my phone like I always am. Oh Lord.
Let me hold on, Salty. Don't. I know it's aggravating.
Yeah, I know. I know you know.
All right, let's try it now. How's it sound?
All right, is that better?
You sound fine to me, and I think everybody else can hear you. Okay, how do we sound?
Sound better now. I don't hear a crazy loop echo.
Okay, we're good then. Hopefully.
You sound okay.
All right, let's do this then. Here we go. Okay, so what were you saying? Or go ahead with what you were going to say, Salty.
Yeah, because when I start to talk, I kind of hear a crazy echo. But when he was.
Here, if I drop this and turn on the phone for you,
I can't do it.
I'll turn on the phone for you then. Don't worry about it. Here, hold on. I don't know why she gets that all the time.
I feel her pain. I was dealing with it last night when I was doing my live, and I just ended up having to change the speaker from my laptop over to my desktop.
Right. Hold on. Here, I'll just put up the phone. No big deal. I wish that I could, of all people to have that problem, it's got to be her. Because she's the one, you know what I mean? Every time. It would drive me nuts. All right, Salty, if you can hear me, go ahead and call in, hon. I got it's all set up and ready to roll. North Carolina says 49 minutes into this and calls Bryan Brent. Oh, well. Oh, I don't know. That's interesting, actually. Very interesting.
So who was the secret witness? Mallory?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was him.
But I don't understand. I don't know. I didn't see the paperwork or whatever led up to this, but I don't understand why he was a secret witness.
No, I agree with you on that.
He's named in almost everything.
Hello, ma'am. Is that better?
And we can't hear.
I don't know.
That issue resolved with my desktop soon. But I'm going to have to go back, and I always view these hearings twice
Mm-hmm.
because it was really hard to understand Maori in the beginning because he talked like I don't know, he was just like
Very
not
quiet.
speaking up clearly.
Right.
I think that was kind of on purpose, was my take. I agree with everything Cletus said a minute ago, though. I really do. When he said that Nick Ballas gave him the cast, I was like, oh, that's the guy I've been trying to get everybody to watch who just
Right.
testified in the Daybell trial. He is the FBI cast agent in Idaho, like the lead agent. And I'm assuming he is the one that goes and does the trials because you're not going to put the face of your agent out there all the time and the name as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's what he does. But so I know that when this was a surprise witness, or not a surprise, but it was not, the information wasn't divulged as to who the witness was going to be. So I was very curious, and I was surprised when it was him,
Yeah.
the cop.
Yeah.
And I feel like he was a lazy cop. And you know how I feel about this case.
Yes.
But when I was listening to him, I thought, man, Ann's going to tear you apart at trial. You are not going to be a good witness. You're not speaking clearly. You hadn't been prepped good enough, which I don't understand that. That's bad on Bill's part. But the fact that FBI apparently did give them some of the stuff that Ann's been asking for. They just didn't realize they had it. Bullshit. And I think he was lazy because he sat there and said he didn't open some of this stuff.
Right.
That he didn't do. I think he just took summary reports that Cast gave him. But I agree with, like I said again, with Cletus, because when you go back to other trials and review this cell phone data, it gets better and better and better each year. Every trial you go attend, what they have is better and better. Now, Murdaugh really got caught with cell phones and vehicle tracking the vehicle, and different things like that. But I don't know how. It's going to be interesting to see how the Cast stuff plays out, because a little bit of me still feels like Ann's not only, but her job is to go in and attack every critical piece of evidence you have and keep it out of court if I can.
Gotcha.
And it's the same way with Delphi. I mean, even though they got shitty evidence in that case, those attorneys have fought hard to keep certain things out of the evidence and out of trial.
Yeah.
Not because it's really super damning, but the sloppy work you did to obtain it may be a problem. I think that's what we're seeing here, is that he was lazy and just didn't.
It sounds like it. Yeah. I mean,
other than that, she didn't show me any like, oh my God, they got him with that cast, because I know how cast works and I've seen lots of testimony and I know how it's going to go between the two experts.
No, like I agree, because a few times I went like that and like that. I was thinking, like, you're just a lazy piece of shit. Why didn't you do your job? It's all I was thinking, And it's like, there it is. They didn't do what they were supposed to do at that time. He didn't do what he was supposed to do at that time. So
well, and that's bad, because if Kohberger is the guy, and these cops do sloppy work, like the cops in Delphi, were they sloppy or are they just really covering up something really bad?
Right.
We can't tell yet. But either way, it's not good for the victims or for the person being prosecuted.
Yeah.
So if she can find things they did wrong, by all means, bring it, because I'm about that. I'm not, I know everybody thinks I think he's guilty. I don't have an opinion. I have a 50-50 on it.
Right.
And I need to see that hard evidence. And I don't think they have hard evidence except for the DNA on the sheet.
Yeah.
You can't. You know, I'm not going to go down a bunch of rabbit holes. Everybody don't touch good cereal at the grocery store, change my mind, blah, blah, blah. And if you went to a knife show and you sold a knife recently, you better be able to tell me when, where, and what day.
Yes, ma'am.
That's pretty important information. You can't just come up and say, well, I went to one and I sold this or I touched that. That's not good enough. Kind of like I was just out driving around is not good enough.
Exactly. And I think that we've all talked about negligence on the sides of the police with this. And I, you know, tried to give them the benefit of the doubt.
We saw it early on.
Yeah.
Remember, we saw the mishandling of certain evidence that was coming out of that house, or what appeared to be mishandling of evidence. Not that it was mishandled in the home when they were collecting their forensics and everything, but the way they brought those mattresses out was sketchy to all of us. Just like, what the hell are you doing?
Yep.
And then loading up the U-Haul. Things like that bothered me all along.
Yes. So then now we have this. Okay. Once again, negligence due to laziness. Now, somebody back here a few minutes ago said, KT, I think he was doing another detective's job. And that kind of made me wonder, because of the way he explained certain things. He
said there was a lead detective, and he wasn't the lead detective on the set. Well, who was? Anne's fixing to find out. She's not placed. That's what she wants. Every little piece of information y'all did, and that's what her job is to do. That's a good attorney.
Yeah, and I believe she's starting to paint a portrait as of right now that we're all going to see eventually. So, you know, if there's more, there's more. And I noticed that Bill, he didn't say a word. He barely even looked up. So
I don't think Bill thinks this is a big deal.
Well,
he knows what what Anne's job is.
Yeah.
In a death penalty case.
Yes.
If he was the defense attorney, he would be going after the same stuff. He knows what she's going to come after.
Right.
That's kind of routine, you know. So I don't think Bill is. I think Bill's a lot more confident than anybody gives him credit for. And as far as Judge having a crush on Anne, Judge has a crush on the law.
Yeah.
And Ann Taylor brings him the argument. Back when she wasn't, you could see it in that man's face. He's disappointed. Like, come on, Ann, I know you can do this.
Yes, I can agree.
Every time she comes in now and she brings that argument, he's even told her in court, bring me the legal argument that I need.
You can tell
what you want.
You can tell when she does that, he kind of smirks a little and he starts to get a little more interested. So yes.
He's a law nerd. I mean, he's totally into it, but he wants to be so freaking fair because he doesn't need nobody to come back later and say, well, Judge, you did this or you didn't do that. He's almost too fair.
Especially on this case.
If you compare what some of judges are doing with other cases.
Yeah.
Judge is being super fair to the point where I'm like, dude, just put your fucking foot down already.
Yeah.
But we don't want to do that because we don't want to cry foul for Kohberger. I don't want that to happen at all. I want it to go right. They'll come back later and say, you know, the judge didn't do this or that.
No, this only needs to happen once, in my opinion. Absolutely once, and no more. I have to agree. I think Anne is doing very well at what she's doing. I think it's very calculated how she's going. There's more coming. May 30th. Yeah. See, I was confused.
Those are the sealed hearings, and that's just IGG stuff, and it's really to keep the names on the tree out of the public.
Yeah,
because they're going to have to discuss some of that, and even they're going to also discuss that Linda Lane footage or either the 1112 footage, because when they were in the last hearing, the judge was like, "No, we're not talking about that because that stuff's under seal, and they don't want." The evidence out here for us to pick apart and discuss, which I would love to do, but they won't let me. So they're kind of putting a damper on my party, but they're going to be discussing that footage for whatever reason.
Right.
She had made the comment last time that the footage started a lot sooner than the audio and all that. I don't know how that will help her or what it will show, but I've noticed that old audio is back in circulation again. And I think that'll confuse a lot of people because that's probably fake, you know?
Yeah.
We both know that.
Yes.
What I'm talking about.
Yes, absolutely.
So I just want everybody to be careful if you see or hear audio floating around out here in social media. And most of you who have followed this case from the beginning know exactly what I'm talking about. So it's very curious to see what she's got to say. And they watch social media, just like
Yeah.
in Sebastian's case. Y'all don't think law enforcement's not watching this fucking shit show? They're watching every bit of
Oh,
it.
yes. I have to
And they're
agree.
watching the people. They see the names. They know what's being said and who it's being said about. And they did the same thing in the Kohberger case. They come in, they sit around, they watch, and okay. So I don't know. You know, she knows the theories that are floating around. I'm going to be curious to see if she uses any of them to throw doubt in the courts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I do agree. I have to say I was very surprised, and again, I'm sorry, guys, I was behind on that. I should have had it set up. I thought it was an hour later. I had my time with their time screwed up, so my apologies for coming in at the very beginning of it like I did. So I'm sorry.
Did any of y'all catch the actual name of that coffee shop Ann mentioned they had video from?
I have it right here. It is a
Was it Red Star?
Red Star, yeah.
Because I'm already, on Highway 8. Right there by Paradise. Oh, okay. Oh, now I want to know what's on that. I want to see that car footage.
I agree.
And so apparently the red lights in town didn't retain footage or screenshots. So that's why they don't have license plate captured nowhere.
Right. Yeah, and this Red Star coffee shop got brought up a long time ago. I remember.
Well, there was another one. There's two other ones.
Kate's Cup of
There's
Joe.
one the PCA mentioned that's over in Washington.
Yeah, Cup of Joe.
Kate's Cup of Joe.
Yeah.
And then the other last hearing, they talked about another location where footage was taken from as well. And then today we hear about this one. And if you go and look and read the PCA and you match the car, because it's all scattery, and if you write it down in columns, you do the car times and then you do the phone ping times, and you look at where the car was. I'm just going to throw a number out there, say at 145. And then you look where the phone was at 145. They're almost in the same location.
Yeah.
At the same time.
Yes.
And so that's the kind of mapping. And then the drive time they're going to do is really driving from Kohberger's apartment over to Moscow, going the route they think he went, and doing the same route back home. And they just talked about that in the Daybell trial, and with Nick Ballas, the FBI agent that just got brought up in this case. So,
gotcha.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I don't know.
Interesting. I'm curious to see what happens on the 30th. I was confused too because I thought this was blacked out, this hearing, but I guess not. I had that.
No, they agreed. They met and agreed that it was supposed to be sealed at first, and this witness was sealed. And then they had their meeting and agreed that they could have it open. And then the judge said, if anything comes up during the conversation or whatever, we'll close it. But nothing. But I think that was only if actual evidence talk began to come out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The cast is not, we all know it exists. We don't know exactly what it says yet of where he was throughout the times or whatever.
Right. Very, 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 very true. What do you think is going to come out as of the 30th? Any ideas possibly, or?
No, I think that Ann's just trying to show that, and I've talked to somebody else who's got the same feeling that we both have had the same feeling the whole time, but it's hard to prove which one came first, the chicken or the egg. Which one came first, the cop IDing an Elantra in the parking lot or the IGG? And that's what Ann is trying to figure out.
Yep.
Which one of those came first? Did you get back to him first using IGG because you didn't have his DNA yet? You could work back towards who it could possibly be.
Right.
In the father of the whatever. They still didn't have his DNA yet, but they are going to say they got the hit on the car in the parking lot almost simultaneously as the IGG report was coming back.
Yes.
And they're going to say, well, we use the ID of the car and then the driver's license to ID our guy. I don't know if that's enough to go get a warrant. The car looks like the car we have on camera. He's got bushy eyebrows like our witness claimed the guy had.
Yeah.
Is that enough to get a warrant? I don't think so. Because I wonder how many, what was there, 12,000 white Elantras in the area?
20.
How many of those, okay, there you go. How many of those had a guy driving with bushy eyebrows.
Right, right. Yeah, exactly.
So could have been 10 dudes running around Moscow looking like that. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
they can't. It's so hard with your sketchy ass witness that we all don't know what to do with to begin with.
He was something else though. The way he, like you said in the beginning, the way he was answering and the way that the judge had to ask him to speak up, because I think he was doing it on purpose too, and he was kind of him-hawing around the answers,
Mm-hmm.
and you could see Anne, as she's waiting for his response, absorbing his bullshit as he was sitting there, basically saying, well,
She was waiting to call him out.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, and then the first thing that caught my attention is when she said, "So you got these yesterday?"
Yes.
Wow. Okay. Here we
Because the
go.
prosecution told him to go look. Well, what the fuck?
Yeah.
How long has she been asking y'all? Bill, you ain't told your boys to go look yet. What's
Right.
up?
Right.
And then he finds it and don't know what to do with it. Well, call Nick Ballas and ask him, what do I do with this?
Mm-hmm.
How do I open it?
That's sad. So sad, especially in a case like this. You'd think, you know what I mean? No, they just whatever.
I mean, I still don't know that it. Even if he didn't open something right or do something right, I still don't know if that's going to throw out Cass altogether.
No, I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If she's going to go after his inadequacies and his report not being accurate. Therefore, the warrant you obtained using the information you gave is inaccurate.
Right. And
now, I don't know if she's got a shot with that or not, because it has not worked in Delphi, and God knows if anybody should have walked because of this shitty ass investigation, it should be that man.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But he's still sitting in prison.
Yeah, he
so,
is.
Idaho's pretty fair. If you reviewed any of the Lori Vallow trial and any of the Chad Daybell trial, you would have got a really good understanding of how Idaho works.
Right.
Because every state is different. Now, Idaho's got a pretty good system, and they're pretty fair. I have to say, from the different trials I've watched coming out of Idaho.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
So, I don't think Anne's shabby at all. She's going to be very good in court.
Yes. I can agree with that. She's showing it for sure now. That's a fact, in my opinion. So,
yeah, and I guess they're going to be holding these hearings every other week up and leading up toward trial.
Right.
Because there's going to be a lot of new motions coming. Anne's going to continue to file motions, and she's going to work her way up to getting that sheath out of the court, out of evidence. She already said that's coming. The motion for that is coming. I'm curious to see how she fights that.
Goes about doing it.
Well, how do you get the sheath thrown out? What's the problem there? Was it that they didn't see it right away? Is there a chain of evidence issue that she sees that we can't see? Things like that, you know what I mean? Or it's not going to be like, that's not his DNA. It was touched in the grocery store, blah, blah, blah story. She knows she can't go down that road without proof. Remember the other case we reviewed where the guy had the pulse oximeter on and the other guy's DNA transferred and all that? But they were able to prove that is how it happened.
Right, right.
So if she got no proof that's what happened, she's not going to be able to walk in there and use that in court.
Right, and I don't think she was even planning on that because she hasn't touched that DNA as of yet. So I think she's got a whole different plan to go with until it comes to that. So to build up to it, in my opinion.
I'm curious to see how she does it. So
it's going to be interesting for sure.
Well, I'm going to go. I'm going to drink my coffee and chill out and look at chat and stalk this map of Idaho some more, like I don't already know it by heart.
Right. All right. Thank you, Salty. I appreciate your input very much.
All right. Talk to you later.
All right. Bye. Okay, guys. So, Mama Bear, you here?
I am.
All right. I go ahead, everybody, and start filling in the dots. Let's talk about it. What's your thoughts? I have to run. I'll be right back. I have to use the little boys' room. Excuse me.
Okay. Don't everybody go at once.
Who all's still in here?
Your mama.
Mama's not. No. But
well, Mom's in here.
I can bring her in here. I can bring her in here if you want me to.
Mom's here.
I'm here.
Oh, Mom's here. I thought you were talking about my mom. I was like, she's in a box up front, but I can bring her in if you want me to.
Oh,
Lord.
She's awfully ashy. I've been telling her she needed lotion for the last couple of years. It's okay. You can laugh at it. Don't worry, guys. It's all right. All right. So, Clue, what do you think?
What? What do you say?
I said, tell us what you think.
I don't know. I really don't know anymore. I think that guy on the stand was just infuriating me to no end. I can't figure out if he's like, honestly, if he was trying to pretend to be an idiot or if he really just may be one. Like, I'm not kidding. I know that
Isn't that scary? Like
the
as a detective, that he's that potentially that out there, I guess is the best way to put it.
Airheaded.
I'm telling
Thank
you,
you.
makes me want to go to school for this. Like, I'm not kidding. Like, some of these people out here just whatever. But I know
You ain't making it. You ain't making it on no police force.
excuse me. First off,
Hell no.
you don't have to do
Listen,
the like
if I'm
cop
ever
stuff.
arrested, the last person I want to arrest me is Cluminati. Yeah, no. Could y'all imagine her?
You'd be beating people down, Clue. That just wouldn't work out.
For real, she'd literally be beating suspects.
I could just see her. What kind? I know you did this, motherfucker. Boom, boom, boom. You know what I mean? Telling you that's what I could see it right now. So
they're like, get the battering ram. Somebody's like, no, get Clue.
Right, and in some ways, it'd probably be a good thing. She'd be a one-person police force.
But they ain't doing it. They're not taking that. Listen, the liability that they're under is already bad enough. Could you imagine the insurance cost if Clue was added to a department? Not only for what she do to the suspects, but her driving. Jesus.
First off, I'm an excellent driver.
Oh,
See,
he
that's
went
what they
there.
all think. Was that a sheep or a goat?
That was Mama Bear.
Holy shit, that sounded like a goat. I love it. Y'all hear that? That sounds like a fucking goat. I'm not lying. Holy shit.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily a bad thing, but yeah, she would be making people confess. She wouldn't even have to beat him. The tone that she can get it sometimes and saying something like, "You're gonna tell me what you did, or we're gonna go about this a different way," and that would be the end of it. That's all. So,
or she'll slice you with her tongue. Y'all ever heard her go off on somebody she don't like?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Somebody that done got up under her skin, how she can put words together that don't make sense, but by the end of it, you're like, damn, you just got burnt without gasoline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very much so.
I'm just telling you. She'll sometimes be joking with me, and when I get off the phone, I got to put Neosporin on my ears.
Yeah, I've gone through my triple antibiotic real quick too. So,
well, thank God you didn't have to put it on your head.
I said, but you do.
Yeah, they don't sell it in 5-gallon jugs, I don't think.
Damn.
Get them, Clue.
It comes from all directions, bro. We all love each other with as much hate as we can. Okay.
Clue?
Me, Clue, and Mom aren't mean to each other.
No.
Oh, yeah. You didn't hear what Mama said about you? Mom said the Mama Bear was trying to be too mama-ish, and she was going to show her who the real mom was.
Oh, look at you spreading misinformation.
Right?
I didn't think he was about that.
You're about to start something that you don't even want to touch, bro, because she might be those two are the two quietest ones in here, which scares me more than Clue scares me. I'll just put it that way, okay? I already know how Mama Bear gets when she's quiet. So go ahead and play that game. I'm gonna step back for a minute.
Hold on. See, what had happened was the way that my brain is set up. You know what I mean? Yeah. So what about those Titans?
Like I said, that's all on you, brother. I'm standing back in the corner now. You're on stage all by yourself.
Well, of course you would, Dago. You would just leave me hanging. I appreciate that, buddy. I really
Why do you think I don't have those conversations for a reason?
Listen, This assault on my feelings is horrible.
Oh God, here we go. Grab your teddy bear. Come on, let's do it.
I will. And it's awfully nice of you to think it's a teddy bear, okay?
Grab the teddy bear. It's a teddy bear. It's a freaking teddy bear.
Is your new background a picture of the eclipse that's created when you're standing in front of somebody in the daytime?
Yes, Cletus, it is.
The ring of
Cletus.
light.
It is. It's my halo with
Yeah.
justice.
The
Broken
halo of justice.
Oh my God.
Yes.
I thought it was
Already-
disco myself.
It is
Somebody
also
says, are we in a support group?
it's a halo disco judicial party.
All right.
Hi, everybody. My name's Dago. I'm a crimeaholic.
No, the support group is Savage's channel.
Yeah, Jesus, yes, yes.
She says we're a
Mine's
support
just
group.
I'm
So
just a random disco. That's all.
So, mom, without any violence, because I know you ain't gonna show it now, but what are your thoughts on this so far today?
No, I behave over here. I told you that last night. I'll behave and act all ladylike and whatnot over here. But this case, I'm disappointed altogether in law enforcement. Like, absolutely 100% could wrap my hands around all of them and watch their eyeballs pop out. I believe that the case was handled wrong from the beginning. Moscow PD doesn't have a good background. And I know you guys have, if you look into their history and being investigated in the past, I don't trust them as far as I could throw them. People trampling in and out of that house, the way that stuff was taken out of that house, the way the evidence was treated altogether. And then, in my opinion, I believe that it was a complete injustice to the victims and everybody involved that they tore the house down. So I'm honestly not surprised that, you're taught in elementary school to show your work. I mean, isn't that what they teach you, to show your work in elementary school? And this, try not to use adult language. This officer here took it upon himself to do a poor job. Once again, we see a very poor job, almost like the case is not being taken seriously. And it's disgusting. And it absolutely it infuriates me. I mean, it absolutely infuriates me.
Half of mind with monsters. I must imply that her insinuation that she wanted to grab an officer by the throat and squeeze really meant she wanted to bear hug him and say thank you for your service. This is the legal department speaking.
She never said those words. You just did, though.
I was very soft about what I said.
Yes.
I chose my words carefully. But it's just disgusting. And, I want to see justice for the kids. And I also want to see a fair trial. And if they're not doing their damn jobs from the beginning, it's like, are we going to see a fair trial? Or are we all going to need umbrellas and boots for the pissing match?
I'm going to say that I think that Anne is going to do everything so far from what I've seen, everything in her power to ensure that there's a fair trial. And if that means showing some bad people, or not, I don't want to say bad, showing the utter laziness that has been, and how, let's see, there's another word I was going to use too, but I got too much sun today, as you can tell by looking at my face. Laziness and how can I can't put it the way I want to. The lack thereof professionalism for the way this was handled. Incompetence. Thank you, Angel. There we go. Jesus, Brand. Boom. I think she's gonna do that. And if it's gonna show these people who they are, then hey, that's their fault. They did it.
Am I right by assuming that Anne is a public defender, correct? I think you've answered that before.
Yeah, she is.
So y'all realize that, like, she's doing everything she's not supposed to be doing as a public defender, at least in the prosecution's eyes, right? Because if y'all are very familiar with the judicial system, most often the public defender does not give a damn about you. You're a number, you're a case you want to push through. And to be in this type of case with a public defender and she's doing the job she's doing, when this is all said and done, regardless of the outcome, but especially if she wins, right, on whichever form, she has set herself up for a career that's going to be hard to top. And I
Well,
think she's showing her skills right now, in my opinion.
mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. And like I said, I think that's partly what her case is. All of this stuff is going to be built on, the crime scene being tainted from the beginning, the mishandling of evidence, mishandling of the situation, mishandling of the scene. Obviously, what we saw today, laziness on the parts of the investigators. A detective that was doing work for another detective, where was he at? Why wasn't he doing his job? So stuff like that, and it's all coming out. So. I'm just the guy responding to her today blew my mind. Like I was trying to figure out, and I think I heard you guys talking about it. I don't know if it was Clue or whoever, but when I was going out of the room real quick, but talking about, was he playing dumb, or is he really literally was he caught up in like you said, truth, like a deer in headlights? Because that's how he came across to me. So
He definitely looked like he was on pins and needles, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And that he was afraid that at any moment he could say something the wrong way or slip up. And I feel like when you're kind of presenting that, then you obviously have something to hide.
And
And that's an uncomfortable feeling as a citizen to watch, where you're like, oh, that's a grimy feeling.
Well, every time she would ask a question and he would go, I don't know what you mean. What? Dude, come on. We heard it. You heard it. That's all I'm saying,
Well, someone said in the comments earlier, they said, I liked, and I don't know exactly word for word how they put it, but essentially when she was asking the detective a question and he responded with a question, and she goes, well, I like your question. Maybe we'll address that in a minute. But
Yes.
it went back to the original question. It's like you're almost feeding her.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't, whatever he said back, and I didn't catch it, but she didn't expect to hear it. And you can see that she's processing whatever he just said for that slight, maybe 2 seconds or whatever it was, that look on her face, like, did he just say that? So I'd like to go back at some point, not necessarily right now, but to see what that exchange was. Because whatever it was led her to have like a light bulb moment, in my opinion, if you watch her face.
Yeah,
I think they were talking about, would she have to have the same version
Yes, that's what it was.
of the program to see what, like his report, right?
Yeah.
And I will say this, that was a little weird to me, like the guy Maori.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like, why would you give that extra information? Like, I don't care if your laptop is asking you to update to the newest version. We don't need to know that.
No, I agree. And I like also how she pulled up. She asked his training. She asked what, his knowledge, and so on and so forth. And as soon as that was declared, bam, here it is. So if you have that, in a sense, to me, so if you have that training and that knowledge, then when did you look at these? Yesterday. And then, of course, the state didn't do well for themselves by saying, when they asked that question, at least in my opinion, that's how I took it, and you did this, why? Well, because you asked me to. Why didn't you do that when you were supposed to, however long ago? And yeah, I mean, the whole thing, I was just like, wow. It was interesting. Very interesting.
Can I ask something, Dago, for you and anybody else? Do y'all believe that Bryan is the person? I mean, obviously you don't want to convict, right? My question is this: do you think there's somebody else out there that
I don't know? That's the question, bro. I can't figure that out because they haven't taken any time, resources, efforts, anything to look for anybody else that we've seen, that they've shown us. At least they went directly to this guy, and it was nothing else. There's nobody else. He did it by himself, and that's where we were at. So the whole time,
similar to the Sebastian Rogers case, though, it's like the case and then the circus that surrounds the case.
Seriously.
Their circus that surrounded it is incredible. Like, I've read more on that than I have the actual case. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. It absolutely. I don't.
Maybe Ann Taylor and your pet fish Tony should become acquainted.
Yeah, yeah. I still have no. I'm still 50-50, just like Salty said. I've been that way the whole time. There's nothing that has shown me anything that to prove that he's done it yet. But at the same time, I'm trying to believe in the judicial and law enforcement system that they know what they're doing. And I'm waiting to see something big come out of the state. I just don't think it's going to happen. I'm leaning a lot more towards the innocent side of this.
What
Or
would you have to see? What would you have to see as evidence? Like anybody, like
at
if
this
they
point,
showed tomorrow one piece of evidence that they may have suggested or whatever that they actually produced that you would go, okay, yeah,
A
this isn't
video of
just
him
fun.
going in the house.
thank you. Yeah, same
Exactly.
thing.
Mhm.
Same
I was gonna
exact.
say a
Video of him going in
video
the
of
house.
some kind.
Either a video of him going in the house or coming out of the house. One of the two. Or I'm fine with either
Or
one.
in the neighborhood, maybe,
What's that?
or in the neighborhood.
No.
Well,
Would that be
No.
no, that's not
Nope.
enough for me. That's not enough.
Mm-mm.
I'd love to see his car on the property. I'd love to see him getting out of that car on the property. But absolutely the most thing I want to see is either him going in that house or coming out of that house. That's all I need to see. If they show me that, we're done. Let's
And
go.
there's no
Well,
camera, or there's the camera.
well, I kind of, if they show him coming out, he would need to look like he just got in a fight with at least
Yeah,
two people.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, 100%. Yeah, he can't just stroll on out there like he just had coffee and donuts. No. But we need to see him going in that home physically or coming out of there looking a little frazzled. Period. That's all there is. And either one of those, you show me that, it's over. Let's go. I'm standing there with my torch and my pitchfork waiting to put this guy through the ringer. But they can't do it. They haven't done anything that leans that way at all. Okay.
They don't have that, or that would have been in the PCA, and
I agree.
All they would have needed was that and the sheath, and they're good. That's
Right.
literally all they would have needed. So if they had it, it would have been there, and they would have saved half a tree right in the rest of it.
Thank you very much. And it wouldn't have been, we would already probably be halfway, like, if not done with this already, in my opinion. But, Salty just said they have no video of him going in or out of that house. They see a car similar in coming into the neighborhood. There's 20,000 of those vehicles that they have proved already that are in this area. Okay. There's how many other white cars that kind of look like this in this area? How is that proof that it's him?
I have a question. Somebody made a comment, and it was kind of a good point. They said they never had Dylan to pick him out of a lineup with at least 5 other men. If she saw him, why didn't they do a lineup and have her point him out?
That's a great question, Mama Bear. Why didn't they do it?
Because they didn't get him until the 23rd, and he was already gone.
Okay, but still, why wouldn't you do a lineup after that?
Yeah, you could have pulled her in.
Well, also understand that lineup,
and they're not going to fly her to Pennsylvania. What they should
No, but when they got back to Idaho,
bring her in.
At that point, there's no reason to do a lineup. You've already.
I do agree.
and
I mean,
lineups aren't necessarily the top choice of investigative usage.
They may as well give him a polygraph. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
Lineups are something of. I'm not saying they don't use them. Don't get me wrong, but there's no guarantee science behind a lineup, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, I watched the hold on.
Which I can understand that.
I watched a video one time, and they had this guy take a purse, right? There was like somebody would go to the bathroom and they'd leave their purse there and they'd tell their friend to watch the purse or whatever. And holy crap, like the way these people described the person that did that was almost insanity. Like, did you even see him at all? You know what I mean? Like they were saying the wrong color shirt, or he had on a hoodie when he had on like a short sleeve shirt. It was crazy.
Eyewitness testimony is really, really hard to deal with because an eyewitness is only as good as their memory is. But that has nothing to do with the actual event. If someone has a very sharp memory, they're going to remember very sharp details. But if you're like most people and you're in your own world doing your own thing, and you might hear or see something, you're not going to process those details the same.
And here's the thing: to do a lineup, what are they going to line up and look for? Bushy eyebrows. That's all she really saw detail wise. Okay.
Well, she said bushy eyebrows. What was it?
And his
Athletic
height.
build. He was
That's
tall. I don't remember what
right.
else.
He
Yeah,
was
you don't even know
between
what color he was. Like, that's a
no,
problem for
and that
me.
it's Clue said that from a long time ago, and I really do agree with her. There was never black or white male or female, mind you. This
That's
could have been
true.
a female, okay, because they never said.
No, they
How do
did
you
say
know?
male.
Yeah, but how do you know that though? Unless you're, if this guy's wearing all these dark clothes and it's dark, how do you know it's just not, an underdeveloped female? That's what I'm saying. That's something that has bothered me from the beginning too. Not saying a female did this, guys. I'm just saying the details of it were never really pinpointed per se, in my opinion, for lack of better terms. That's
Maybe
all.
his zipper was down.
Shut up, Clue.
I didn't say that. Hold on. I relayed that from fiance, so you can put that one on me.
I heard him. And at Mocha, you're right. Look at Delphi with the two different sketches. I agree. I do. I agree. That's a mess, though. That's a big mess over there. Which we will be. I swear to God, guys. I keep saying it, but we will be getting to it.
How many cases do y'all remember on like a college campus where shit like this has happened and it ends up being somebody like within staff or student body?
I can't think of any that I remember, but I mean,
I can't think of any off the top of my head that were staff or student body.
yeah, I can think of a bunch of movies. Does that help?
I mean,
No,
you
I'm
have
just trying to think how common it is for there to be a fraternity or sorority mass death situation. You know what I mean? And
Well,
in those cases, who was ultimately convicted? What was their um, profile? Does that
but
make sense?
here's the problem with that. It does, but here's the problem. They're all anything that's fraternity related. If you go look into it and find any bits of information, you're not going to. They cover it up. Anything fraternity or sorority related is always quieted.
There's my point, though, Dago.
Oh, I
So
know. I know.
if we know it happens, why would it be this random guy that's not in the fraternity or sorority?
That's been questioned a lot from the beginning. Truth, it really has.
Well, just because if what you're saying, and I do believe what you're saying is right, then ultimately, because most often it had to do with something within the fraternity or sorority, right?
It has, but see that fraternity thing has gone and led to so many rabbit holes that I've just
Too many.
I've looked at it on
That's
the
like
surface.
the Riley. That's like what's his name? Shoot, y'all help me with this. In Nashville,
Okay.
Riley
Strain.
Strain, just like the Riley Strain case.
Mm.
The fraternity is super questionable about a bunch of things, but not necessarily in what happened to him. Does that make sense? I don't know if y'all been keeping up with that. That
Aren't
shit's
the
getting crazy.
aren't the parents suing the fraternity?
Oh man, like go catch up on that. Y'all want some interesting stuff to look up? Go catch up on that case. That one's
Be right
insane.
back.
That one's they're going after the fraternity and they're going after Nashville police, I believe. There's several lawsuits that they're doing, but even when they're talking about the information that they've gotten, it would cause the everyday person to go, okay, yeah, something nefarious happened to them.
Hmm. Interesting.
I firmly believed in the beginning that it was, he fell into the water. Maybe it was on accident, maybe it was on purpose, but I didn't think that he was, his life was taken. But after, listening and kind of putting some things together, I would go into the category of it needs to be investigated as a suspicious death, not a non-foul play investigation.
Mm-hmm. Angel, I know they subpoenaed one of the girls. I don't remember if it was Bethany or Dylan. Is it Bethany?
Yeah, they wanted to talk to her in private.
Yeah, she wouldn't come back to Idaho, so they met in Vegas. Does that sound right?
Yeah, Nevada.
Weird at all.
Yeah.
That's not weird at all. Meeting in Vegas seems just like an odd place to meet.
Yeah.
That's where she lives.
Yeah,
I thought
she
it was
moved out there.
Reno.
She lives in Reno.
Is it Reno?
Mm-hmm.
Reno, Vegas. I don't know. It all seems the same to me, but
I
If you got
agree.
the right person locked up, why would she be afraid to come back?
exactly. That was my question a long time ago.
I don't think that's it. I think honestly, like I'd be like, bro, if you want to talk to me, you can drive here. Like, not going the extra mile because you guys want info for me, but I don't know how that works, right?
Yeah. And I don't know if they've talked to Dylan at all. I've never
Well,
heard
see,
anything.
we don't even really know if they've talked to Bethany because
True.
right after she agreed to talk to them, they literally, as soon as she said yes, they went to a grand jury.
Oh, that's right.
So we don't even really know that they actually got to talk to Bethany.
That's right. It's starting to come back now. Whew. Been a lot of info.
Yes.
Turn around.
Lisa, yes, that's definitely a possibility, but we'll never know unless it goes to trial.
So Dylan is a witness. Defense flew to Reno, interviewed her. She wasn't afraid. It was the bullshit she was staying away from. She was staying away from her. Dylan is a witness, right? I think that they went to talk to Bethany or wanted to talk to Bethany before the grand jury because of this so-called exculpatory evidence.
Why would they fly to Reno to talk to
Because
Dylan?
she refused via her attorney to come back to Idaho for whatever reason.
Bro, Dylan don't live in Reno.
No, not Dylan. Bethany. They were talking about.
Oh,
Bethany.
okay.
Yeah. Bethany went to Nevada. Okay, for whatever reason.
Nevada.
Yeah. So she refused to come back to Idaho for whatever reason, whether it was to stay out of it, to stay away from it, didn't want nothing to do with it. I don't know. There's no actual knowledge of that. But right before the grand jury came together, it was a proof for them to go speak to her in Nevada. And then the grand jury came about, and I don't know what actually happened with that, is whether they interviewed her or didn't interview her. I'm gonna say they did, but
Didn't I just say that?
What?
That we don't know.
Right. I didn't hear you. I'm sorry. But anyway. And then there's been nothing else, as far as I understand, said to or said about Dylan. So I don't know what's going on or what's gonna go on. I'm imagining that there's gonna be obviously witness testimony from both in the trial.
Well, Gwen, I wouldn't say both are MIA. I'm sure they know where they are.
Yeah, they know exactly where they are and what they're doing and why. They've been staying out of the bullshit because there's so much bullshit that has come out about it. You know, everybody has these questions, me included, as to I have a lot of questions for Dylan. I question why she did what she did and how did you do that? You know, maybe that'll come out. Maybe it won't. I don't know. Bethany, I'm very curious too. What did you see and hear that night? Because you had to have at the very least, if you were in that home, heard something. That's my only issue with that. And because it was told to us that they were communicating between the two during commission, per se, that's again something Gonsalves told us. Who knows if it's right or wrong, but I was told, we were told, I should say, that they were texting back and forth. What was that conversation about? And if it was about what was going on, why then did you not call 911? That's all I'm questioning. That's the biggest question I have.
What time? How long was it from the time that he supposedly walked past the last eyewitness to the time they called police? Was there a gap between there?
8 hours.
8 hours.
7.5.
Yeah.
8 hours, bro.
Wait. So these young folks passed away for 8 hours before they called the police?
Yep.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
If if the timeline of when they passed away, per them
Yeah.
assuming it's Kohberger, is correct, then yes.
Yeah. Yeah, if everything is what it is that they told us is correct, then that's how it works. It works.
So
Yes.
wait, but how? Oh, wait. So you watch somebody walk past you with a mask on that doesn't belong in your house, presumably with blood on them by the way the attack was, and you just go to your room and go to sleep?
Welcome to Idaho, Truth.
She thought it was allegedly somebody, hey, Mimi, partying there. But even that story, hold on. It's hard to
That's
stop putting
vicious.
suckers in your mouth.
I was gonna
It's
say,
hard.
get that candy out of your mouth.
It was a big party house, yes. Okay. It was a college off-campus
But the
house.
problem is, I think that's a bullshit story
I do too.
because you went back in your room and locked the door. Well, first you were frozen in fear, and then you locked the door behind you. If you
How are
thought it
you
was a
frozen
party
in fear?
person,
How are
if
you
you
frozen in fear if you think it's a party person?
that's what I'm saying. And
We all said that.
why are you locking the door? Like, no, I think
No.
you knew something was wrong about that person.
Then how do you go? Did she go to sleep? I'm assuming she went to sleep.
I mean, I'm unless she sat up for the next 8 hours
I don't
waiting
know. There
on
was two
daylight.
of them, so
But again,
But
if you're frozen in fear
well,
about something,
so
how do you go to sleep?
right. But I
But you
will
can't
say
be
this.
frozen in fear. You can't be frozen in fear if you didn't think anything was wrong because the person was just a party goer.
Right.
But I will say this. I can actually give Bethany a possible pass on not hearing anything just because of the location of her room. What I can honestly see happening, truthfully, is possibly they were texting, probably bitching about the noise or whatever upstairs. Dylan's like, I can't sleep. Then she sees that guy and she might have texted her and been like, I just saw this random guy in the house, but can I come down there and sleep or whatever? I mean, that could be possible. They were close, I guess. You know what I mean? But
And we
the thing that bothers me the most is if you saw this guy and you unfreeze to lock the door, why don't you look out the window in your room to see if he
mm-hmm.
leaves or where he goes? Which he could have, and they didn't put it in there.
No, wait a minute. Something just dawned on me. The PCA is written to provide probable cause for the arrest of an individual. What Dylan did after she saw him is of no consequence to hit the accusation against him.
Right.
Why did they include that? What Bethany stated I forget how they worded it. The timeline was developed based on communication between Bethany and Dylan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was based off of Bethany's phone, correct?
I don't know.
Both the downloads of their phones.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
And
So
statements that they made.
Salty said, yet she heard, "Don't worry, I'm going to help you."
Yes, there was a few things she heard. She heard whimpering, coming from what she believed was Xana's room, and then she heard, "Don't worry, I'm here to help you." She heard what initially she heard in the beginning of the statement. I'm going to pull it up and show you on the PCA was what she thought was Kaylee playing with her dog, possibly. That's where it starts at. But you don't
and she
hear.
also described the guy as dressed and clad in black.
Yeah, the wording was changed around too. Truth, the statement that this girl gave, this 20-year-old girl, okay, that she saw somebody clad in black. Those were the words put in there, and I think that was changed by law enforcement, but still, that had bushy eyebrows, 5'10" or taller, athletic build, clad in black, and then said she was in a frozen shock phase. How many 19 or 20-year-old kids have you heard say words like that? First of all, we bounced that around for a while.
For 8 hours?
Yeah, well, that's the biggest thing. Hey,
She
no,
was
no.
in a frozen shock phase for like 2 minutes when she saw that guy. She pops out of it when she locks her door.
Yeah.
So I'm sure this is going to sound like a stupid question. Why aren't they being looked at? Like if they're
We've
the only
asked
two
that.
in the house and 4 people die and nobody sees or hears anything,
Right?
Mhm.
Because I think, I don't know why LE didn't look at them, but I can tell you why YouTube didn't look at them, at least in the beginning.
We weren't allowed.
First off, y'all weren't allowed. I did, but the rest of YouTube didn't do that. We're not going to victim shame. That type of mentality.
they're not the
Mhm.
victims. They survived.
Thank
Respectfully.
you.
Like I'm sure they have long-term effects from what they experienced. Nothing to take away from that, but the victims of this crime specifically are the ones that are no longer with us.
Yeah, but mind you, it works the way it works in true crime, because if you look at what's going on in the Sebastian Rogers case, right? Technically, if he just walked out of the house, Katie is a victim. They ain't got no problem victim shaming now. I'm just saying, people are
Right.
crazy on this internet, for real.
All right, so just to give you a little follow up, to catch you up just a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna give you her statement. Okay, DM stated that she looked. This is Dylan Mortensen, one of the roommates that survived this whole thing. Looked out of her bedroom, but did not see anything when she heard the comment about someone being in the house. DM stated she opened her door a second time when she heard what she thought was crying coming from Xana Kernoodle's room. DM then said she heard a male voice say something to the effect of, "It's okay, I'm going to help you." At approximately 4:17 a.m., a security camera located at 1112 residence immediately to the northwest of 1122 King Road picked up distorted audio of what sounded like voices or a whimper, followed by a loud thud. A dog can also be heard barking numerous times starting at 417. Security camera is less than 50 feet from the west wall of Kernoodle's room. DM stated that she opened her door for the third time, which is something I have a huge problem with, and I'll tell you why in a minute. After she heard the crying and saw a figure clad in black clothing and a mask that covered the person's mouth and nose walking towards her, DM describes the figure as 5'10" or taller, male, not very muscular, but athletically built with bushy eyebrows. The male walked past DM as she stood in a frozen shock phase. The male walked towards the back sliding glass door. DM locked herself in her room after seeing the male. DM did not state that she recognized the male. This leads investigators to believe that the murderer left the scene.
Why wouldn't that lead you to believe that you should investigate the 2 people left in the house and not that the murderer left the scene?
Because
Basic principle of investigation is eliminate the people closest to first.
in the very beginning of this case, I, as well as multiple millions of other people, called her out and said, "What the hell? Why?" Okay. Then the whole world came at us and said, "She's a victim. You can't victim shame her." Okay. So I sat quiet for a while. And then at some point I said, "Piss on this. It's ridiculous." And I said it again. I want to know why, what she did, what was going on. This looks shady as hell. And I took it from there. But it took a little while because everybody was so dead set on calling these 2 victims when I don't believe that they're victims. I believe that they are possible witnesses, in my opinion. Okay. And so that's my opinion. Nobody has to agree with me again. But anyway, I do believe that they should have been looked at immediately. But again, as we've explained and you've seen and heard, this scene was completely mishandled from the very beginning. Okay. From the supposed 911 call to where we're at right now, the whole thing was done wrong. When the 911 call was a call of a person that's passed out. That's what the call went in as. That's what we were told. That's what everybody said. They've never played the 911 call, and I doubt that they ever will. And here's the thing: before she even called law enforcement, 8 hours later, she called friends that belong to the fraternity and sororities to come over there first. Okay, and supposedly had no idea that they were deceased in the house.
What?
So she calls one person over specifically. Yeah, she calls one person over specifically who goes in, and he's the one that sees that they're deceased, at least the two downstairs. And he calls 911 is what we were told again, but that's never been clarified for sure. And they were in the house before 911 or before police got there. This whole thing is a mess. So I don't know. You take it for what it is. We have all questioned this from the very beginning.
Oh.
You still there? Or no?
Who?
Truth.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Oh, did you hear what I just said?
Yeah, I've been listening. I'm just trying to process it all. Then obviously y'all are a lot more informed on the case. I mean, I have the outside, but not the inside of it like y'all do. I mean, it's interesting. And I know I'm probably asking some very normal questions that others have asked, but I'm my question, did those two individuals have any wounds on their body?
Not
No
that we
one knows.
no, not that we
Oh,
were ever
no,
told.
no report of processing of their body, like their hands, their anything?
Not that
Nope.
anybody was ever told.
We know they were interviewed.
Yes.
There was no photo, there was no crime lab pictures, anything like that? You're kidding me, right?
We haven't seen
We
everything
haven't
because
seen
they put
anything.
everything under seal.
Yeah, there's a gag order that was put out. Everything's been under seal. There's been nothing shown, nothing talked about.
Well, the
Other
gag
than
order is not abnormal. That's not a concern to me. I would expect them to have a gag order on it just simply for the level of media it's gotten. But
right, and
so
then go ahead.
so who did? I'm trying to understand this from a forensics aspect, right?
Mm-hmm.
Three girls, one young man, right? Am I right with that? Three girls, one young man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Two downstairs, two on the third floor.
two
Yes.
upstairs and two on the. Yeah, yeah.
Then the second floor is where the two girls were that didn't get hurt.
They
One girl was, the other was in the very bottom floor.
And wouldn't have had to pass by anybody's deceasedness on the way to the other room, right?
Dylan would.
yeah.
So
Or
she would have had to
Becky.
walk past and see that there were people already gone
May
on her way.
This is where it's shady. Um, she is on the same floor that Xana and Ethan were on. Okay, they're in just opposite rooms of that floor, not too far apart, truly, but didn't hear any loud bangs, noises, screaming, anything. Anyway, and then the other two were upstairs, a level above them. Actually, I believe right above her room in Maddie's
Right.
room.
Yeah, I've
Okay.
seen the layout. I'm trying to process the fact that if you're going to inflict bodily harm with a knife
Yeah.
to death, and it's going to be done in a manner where the knife has always been something in cases that's interesting to me because not only is it intimate, and it's a very intimate way to take someone's life, but it's also something that requires more time than a firearm would. And I would assume that with the first wound or two, you're going to start screaming, right? And even if someone's intoxicated, um, screams will wake somebody up. I couldn't imagine that at 3 o'clock in the morning, whatever it is, 4 o'clock in the morning, that someone wouldn't hear some type of screaming.
I agree, and I personally think only one of them were actually asleep. That's just my opinion, though.
Well, and then you have to assume that whoever that you got, whoever the suspect was, would receive some level of defensive wounds. if
Right.
someone was to wake up, right?
You would imagine, yeah. And the person that they have in custody for doing this went to a doctor's appointment and haircutting appointment, and then went back to work. And assuming everybody was interviewed that had been around him, there was nothing about him that showed any kind of distress to his body, any of that. No markings. And then to be all end all, that blew my mind with it. Some people agree, some people don't with me, but was that they went through his vehicle, they went through his home, his apartment, they went through his parents' home, they went through his office at work, and did not find one piece, not one speck of DNA from any of the victims on anything he owns.
Not even in his car.
Somebody do what?
Not even in his vehicle that he would have driven away from the scene in, right?
No.
Nothing, nowhere, not a speck.
Impossible.
Well,
absolutely forensically impossible.
Well, there's nothing, not a piece.
I mean, there's no way that you wouldn't have some transference of DNA or some type of substance transference, whether it be dirt that's on the floor there that would then be in the carpet of the car, or some type of fabric that would be on their clothing, or a blanket, or any of the above that would be transferred into the car. It's absolutely impossible. Like, there's no way.
Nothing. There's nothing.
There's no way. Not with that type of violence, not with that level of infliction of bodily harm.
In my opinion, we know at least one person was awake, because you have to ask yourself, if she heard him say, "It's okay, I'm here to help you," who the hell is he talking to?
Right. Right.
You're awake that much to hear that, but you're not awake to hear someone scream?
We've never believed that she didn't hear screams. Nobody does, I don't think. That's a huge point.
It depends on your perception. Salty, just to clear up, my perception is from a professional aspect, right? I'm looking at it in a forensic point of view. Whereas you understand, when you use a knife, the amount of how can I put it? The amount of evidence, bioevidence, transfer evidence, there's so much that can happen within that period of executing that crime that it would be astronomically impossible to then change out of those clothes without a shower of some kind before getting into the vehicle. And just changing clothes would never be enough. It just wouldn't, in my opinion.
Hang on a second.
That quiet.
Sorry, I'm trying to get my coffee cup again.
Well, I'm sure you have, Salty. I'm not questioning you at all, darling. I guarantee you know way, way more about this case than I even possibly could. I'm just looking at it from, kind of the information I learned when Dago does this or Clue does this, because, sometimes even with the Sebastian Rogers case, if we had people that looked at it now without all of the other shit that goes with it, you often get, kind of a different view. But this is confusing. Y'all have had your hands full trying to figure this one out.
Yeah, well, it just never has made any sense to anybody in a lot of ways. Like the timeline that was given to the suspect to do this. 4 people, one of them being a male that's bigger than him per se. What was the actual? Jesus, they bounced the number of minutes around.
8 minutes.
Yeah, around 8 minutes to do all that. In, out, do the job, and you're on the road.
How long? Did you say 10 minutes to go in, do all that was done, and then get out? Is that what you said?
It's like 8 minutes. Well, hold on, let me think. 4:04.
They're saying that Bryan went in and did everything that he did in 8 minutes. That's what you're saying?
It's like 8 to 10 minutes, yeah.
No effing way. By himself?
By himself.
That's what they
They're-
say.
Yep.
By himself
By himself.
and leave no trace evidence whatsoever.
Yes.
Oh yeah, definitely. Brian's guilty for sure. Makes sense to me. The hell?
These are the things everybody struggled with in this case, bud. I mean, and
It's a death penalty case.
yeah, definitely.
Some people are saying 8 minutes, some people are saying 16. So can we get a
So,
direct answer on that?
yes, he's last seen pulling into the neighborhood at 4:04. They
Right.
talk about some movements he does. He goes down the street, turns around, comes back, da 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 da. So, I mean, it's pretty much you got to figure out how much time all that dancing around with the car took, and then what's left is the number.
And then he's seen again, supposedly leaving the area in that vehicle at 4:20.
Yes.
Yeah.
20 minutes to drive in, park, go inside, do the deed, come back out, change out of every one of his clothes, make sure that it never touches anything whatsoever, get into the car, and get out in 16 minutes.
Well, yeah, if you want to go that way.
So I'm assuming from the time he comes in, that we'll take 2 minutes, maybe 2.5 minutes. 2.5 minutes to get out. That's 5 minutes. We'll say a minute, minute and a half to park the car and walk inside. You're going up 3 flight of stairs. I mean, you're looking at 9 minutes right there. Yeah, about 8 or 9 minutes inside the house.
Now, here's the thing
No,
that
less than that. More like 6 minutes inside the house.
Here's the thing I've always called into question with that timeline. I think one of them was asleep, Maddie. I think Kaylee may have been in her room with the dog because that's where the dog was found. And the dog may have started to get a little uncomfortable, scratching, whining, whatever. She hears something in Maddie's room. She gets up, comes out of her room, goes in there and interacts. And that happens with her now. Okay. So I guarantee you she fought back. That takes time off, in my opinion. The killer goes downstairs, interacts with Xana and Ethan. Ethan is a big dude. Okay. I'm going to guarantee that he fought back. And I know that Xana did because she had defensive wounds all over her hands. So take that time into account that these people are defending themselves against him. In my opinion, that's going to shave time off of that timeline, in my opinion. Okay. Because it's going to take you extra time to wrestle around with these people. One knife, one person, one knife, one hand. You gotta, and the guys, you've seen Bryan. He's not like Hercules or anything, okay? And Salty says he enters the house by 4:09. Put all that into account.
Hold on. So he was seen at 4:04, right? And you're saying he went in at 4:09. So that's 5 minutes, right?
And Xana was at 4:12, Clue? That she was on whatever it was. TikTok. 4:12, she made a post to TikTok.
Well, we don't know that she made a post, but she was on TikTok.
Active, I'm sorry. Yeah, she was active. And at 4, was it 4 or 4:01? There was a DoorDash delivery dropped off at that door.
It says around 4 o'clock.
Around 4, yeah.
Was that DoorDash car caught on video?
Probably the one where it came in.
Yeah, but they, according to Ellie, they've spoken to and cleared the DoorDash driver from everything.
That sounds familiar to a current case.
Uh-huh. So put all that together in a little basket and hop around with it. It don't make no sense to me. I'm sorry.
So it only makes more sense that they lost their life at a different time.
Well, there was a different timeline in the very, very beginning, which was an hour beforehand, if I'm correct. Somebody fix me if I'm wrong. It's been so long. Between 3 and 4, I think it was, wasn't it, guys?
Yep.
Okay, that was the original timeline, and then for some reason, I can't remember exactly why they changed that timeline up, but there's a whole bunch of other shit that goes into this. The girls, Maddie and Kaylee, were seen at this stupid grub truck ordering food, blah blah blah, so on and so forth. And then, according to Kaylee's sister, she saw them on camera getting home at 1:56, walking into the house, and then coming back out with Murphy, the dog, to walk him. That's all I've heard from that as far as video footage. Okay. And then we go forward to whenever it happens, starting at 4 something. But see, the original timeline, now mind you, another thing that bothers me with this is Jack Decor was Kaylee's ex-boyfriend. They had just seen him at the bar they were at. They were friends, or maybe possibly getting back together, maybe not. Nobody knows, but it was talked about. They tried to call him 10 times that night. Starting, do you remember what time that started at, Clue?
2. I think the last one's at 2:32. I don't know. I don't remember.
Is it in here? It's in the PCA, isn't it? I swore it was in here. Let me see real quick. Anyway, they tried to call this guy with no answer. Okay. But DM and Best BF both made statements during interviews that indicated that the occupants of the King Road residence were all home by 2 a.m. and asleep, or at least in their rooms by approximately 4 a.m. Okay. 1:56. That's when the 2 girls got home. I know there's something in here. I swear that says it. Or is it down here further? Kaylee's sister, I think. Wait a minute. Was it you, Salty, that asked what? According to what the sister said, she saw that on the video from next door. That's how I took that in the interview she gave.
But that's a problem for me. If she saw them walk into the house, right?
Yep.
I guess maybe they could have taken the dog out front to go to the bathroom.
I guess that's what I always assumed. Here's where the problem starts to come into effect with this stuff, is with the video cameras that are picking up the car at different times. Suspect vehicle 1, which is his supposed car. Okay, here it is. He showed multiple sightings of suspect vehicle 1 starting at 3:29 a.m. and ending at 4:20. These sightings show vehicle 1 makes an initial 3 passes by the residence, then leaves via Willenta Drive, which is the road that runs behind there. Based off my experience as patrol, this is a residential neighborhood, blah, 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 blah. None of that matters. Upon review of the video, there are only a few cars that enter and exit this area. Okay. It can be seen entering the area a 4th time, approximately 4:04. He's still in the car at 4:04 as it's entering the area at 4:04 a.m. Okay, so remember that. It can be seen driving eastbound on King Road, stopping, turning around in front of 500 Queen. Suspect 1 is in front of the King Road residence and appeared to unsuccessfully attempt to park or turn around in the road. The vehicle then continued to the intersection. This was at 4:04 again of Queen Road and King Road, where it can be seen completing a 3-point turn, then driving eastbound again down Queen Road. Suspect 1 is next seen departing the area of King Road at 4:20. So somewhere between 4:04 and 4:20 is when this all took place. Now, if it's still being seen, I've always had a problem with this. Stopping and turning and doing this and doing that and maybe looking for a parking space at 4:04. When did he actually get inside the house, supposedly, then?
It's a lot of driving and U-turning and you know what I mean?
I always thought that car was because this address was very confusing too. And the house the way it was in there, it was kind of hard to find a little bit. I always thought that could have been the DoorDash driver trying to find the house. Okay. That was just, something I thought, but how do they see in front of the house too, though?
It's actually kind of logical.
What, the DoorDash thing?
Yeah.
That's why I thought, because of all the turning around stuff and the address issues, King Road, Queen Road, blah blah blah, so on and so forth. Salty says he goes behind Queen Road at 408, right?
So we're ticking minutes off the clock quickly, and to be able to, take 4 lives and leave and derobe. Like, you gotta understand, if he's got all this stuff covered, then where did he put all of that? What did he have on? And then how did he put it into the vehicle without transference of anything?
Well,
That's
of course, there's talk. It's been there was a murder kit. Yeah, you're welcome to come up here, Golf. Always. That he had a whole kit that he went in there with. Okay. Okay, Salty's saying that there was no address issue. I understand that. I said I thought back in the beginning that was the DoorDash car because of the different turns and stuff like that. Because when we first went looking for the house, we pulled it up on a map thing, a GPS thing, or Google Maps, and it gave me another address and stuff. And I thought back then that could have been that they had trouble finding it, but she's saying they didn't. So, whatever. I get it. Oh, don't forget the shower curtain. That's how he took care of all this and kept all the DNA out of his vehicle. Because when they went into his apartment to serve the warrant, his shower curtain was missing.
I'm sorry. What?
His shower curtain, those clear.
I heard it, but it's more of a.
It was. I know it was gone. The guy had gone home for the holiday, to PA, and he was kind of a OCD type person, if you know what I'm saying. Anyway, the shower curtain was gone, so everybody immediately came out and said he used the shower curtain to cover up everything so that he could not get the DNA. So that was one of the wild ass things. Welcome, True Golf. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that sounds plausible. 100%. Yeah, send him to the chair. Sure.
It doesn't. Things don't make sense to a lot of people. And that's where a lot of the rigmarole came in. And because of that, the way that the PCA was written, it was overwritten, so on and so forth. And there was questions about everything, all of the crap started then, almost from the beginning on this because of the mishandling of things and so on and so forth. And it just went crazy for like a year. But they did come to find there were 20,000 of these vehicles just like this around this area. There was one that showed up, weirdly enough, one that showed up wrecked in Oregon. Okay, that's a white Elantra that at one point in time was owned by the guy that owned the house, the landlord at the time. It was very, very weird coincidences. I'll just put it that way.
Wow.
He sold it in 2019, by the way.
Yeah,
but it
was a lot too. And it was passed off as being nothing. It was just a coincidence, but okay. And it's always been listed, which I wondered why. Suspect vehicle 1. Everybody says that's normal, but okay. I always wondered that, but so welcome, Golf. Anything to add to it?
I'm sorry. I was catching up. I was working all day and it came in. I don't know if you talked about the hearing, which I'm sure you did. It was interesting to say the least, but to backtrack on what you were saying earlier, in that they really didn't have their ducks in the row correctly, I think today proved it. But I don't know if you discussed that part. I'm sure you did. What do you think of the hearing today? I think you're muted, Dago.
He's probably away. He does that all the time.
Okay. How are you guys doing then?
I'm good. How are you?
I don't know what's up. I'm just like, okay. Are you muted, Dago? What did you think, Clue, of today's hearing?
He jumped up and ran to the bathroom, I'm sure.
I definitely feel like they are proving what everyone has theorized all along, that you guys really didn't truly investigate.
Yeah, that was pretty much proven. Yes.
It's like I don't know, a lot of me feels like they got the tip about this car. The guy's a criminology student. It works.
It
And
works.
that's where it went, right?
Correct. Yeah, it was a little bit like that. But what also surprised me is this guy. He got this dumped on him because FBI just dropped all the files over to him. Like, here, go do what you can, and they just didn't want. They don't want to associate with that. And that's not a good sign. They
No.
just don't want to be involved in this at all. At least to me. What do you think over there? Oh, you changed your name. Truth.
I just put the channel name up there now.
Ah, okay.
I'm still the same. I don't
Okay.
know. I'm kind of just soaking up everything, reading everybody's, outlook on it and kind of seeing where it's going. I think it's definitely got some flaws in the case, but I'd have to look into it more to give you an honest answer on it.
Yeah. It's pretty far out there. There's cases that are like this when people feel something ain't right. That's why we have so many, flocking to it. And because, you see how they were talking in the beginning when this whole started, at least every press conference. If you ever have time for that kind, go back and look at the press conference. It says, as opposed to what came out in the PCA, it's so contradicting with time stamps and all that. And that's where it started for a lot of people, like, hold up.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't make any sense as to what you've been saying so far. What So if you have time and want to entertain yourself for a few hours going through those old um, you know footage and stuff like that, it's worth it.
Yeah, at some point I'm gonna go back to the beginning and just do like a since we're getting closer, hopefully, maybe
Yeah.
to a hearing or to a trial, just kind of do a replay of the whole thing and show everything that's gone down. Just and believe it or not, truth, as crazy as the things have come up with this one, wait till we actually show you the Delphi case.
No, because I'll tell you what, there was somebody on yesterday that was doing a catch up on the Delphi case,
Hmm.
and I watched about 20 minutes or so. I was in between meetings, uh, and just the 20 minutes I watched, I was literally just sitting here, just tapping the middle of my forehead, trying to understand what fucking world I lived in.
Yeah, that's a good categorization.
I would just tapping, like, what is
Yeah.
going on? I'm in the same place with the Sebastian Rogers case too. I'm
Yeah,
just tapping my forehead, like, when is this insanity going to stop?
that's a good question.
Angel said Kohberger admitted it to his wife.
He doesn't have a wife.
Doesn't have a wife.
Well, Angel, apparently he doesn't have a wife. And it's creating credibility issues with the state's witnesses that she's going to use at trial to create reasonable doubt, which
No.
is all she has to do. Bobby, I believe you're right on that. And I think when you're prosecuting a death penalty case, your level of, conviction, at least I would think on a juror's behalf, would have to be a hell of a lot stronger than reasonable doubt. That's just my own personal opinion, not based on anything.
Well, apparently, did you speak about this? I'm sure, Dago, that the trial or the hearing today that came out, they were talking. This fellow, Mowry, he's the one that presented the material that they showed to, or he put it together, rather, however he did it. It was confusing as hell. He put it together for the grand jury.
Uh-huh.
but he couldn't remember how he did it and what he had. And I mean, it was like all over the place. It was almost scary to watch.
To mind you, with this case, by the way, I'm sure you didn't know this either, but well, I know everybody else does, but they, you know how most other cases, there's a preliminary hearing and all that kind of stuff, you know, that comes into effect whenever you have somebody in custody.
Yeah.
As soon as it popped out that they were, it may not have anything to do with it, okay, but it was the timing. As soon as it came out that they were going to be going and speaking to Bethany, like boom, 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 they went ahead and did this secret grand jury thing, blah blah blah, boom, and it was done. So I don't know. A lot of people have called that into question. Did it happen because of those things, or was it just the way the timing fell into play? And you got to see it for what it is, and then make your own decision based on that.
And Bethany is one of the surviving roommates, by the way.
Yeah.
The one that was not mentioned almost at all in the PCA.
Ever. Hardly.
Yeah.
But and the other
Other
thing
than that
too,
she was present.
didn't we hear a couple different stories, by the way, that one, they were in separate rooms, then they were in the room together, then they were this, and then they were, I mean, it's changed around so many times. I don't even honestly, God, it's also been said that she wasn't even at the house until after the fact, if you read this a certain way. But
Yeah.
I'm just going to say she was there. I'm just going to say she was there.
In my opinion, that's all speculation because
Right.
if you read what that private investigator said, she was at the home at the time of the crimes.
I believe she was there too. I think, but what came out in press conferences is probably what you're referring to, Dago, is so many different. Yeah, because every time there was a press conference, there was something new added to it, right?
Yes.
One or two things, and then we learned a little bit more, and then we learned a little bit more, and then it changed. All of a sudden, everything changed with the PCA.
That's why I'm telling you the truth. There's a lot of rumor that has taken this in different directions. I'm not telling you that the stuff I said because I think it's fact. I'm telling you, be careful, because a lot of that stuff came out based on little differences here and there. So people took it and ran with it and made their own narrative out of it. You know what I mean? So
that's normal.
Yeah, it just got really bad in this case. I mean, literally for a year, it was nothing but pure insanity, and it's finally boiled down a little bit. It's depending on where you go, you'll still hear some crazy things, literally.
Yeah, true that. And going back to the Oregon car, I mean, do you know what it takes for that coincidence to actually happen? That a former, like the owner of that car, former owner of the car, owned at that time, before it was given to the university, the house that these people, passed away.
It was a very, very strange coincidence. We'll just put it that way. I mean, it was like they found the car, they thought, in Oregon, had been stolen and wrecked, so on and so forth, blah, blah, blah. Then they come to find out that one of the owners was the guy that owned the house that the murders happened in, and everybody went, "Wait, what?" You know what I mean? So it was just
raises eyebrows. Yeah,
like you just said, Mocha. Wait, what? Now nobody really went too deep on that, okay? But it's still way too much of a coincidence for me to just say, okay, whatever.
Was that actually proven though?
Yeah, they had his name. They found his name on the
VIN was etched in the window.
Yes.
And back when you could actually search that, and I think that has been removed now, but I know I did it, and I am stupid. I didn't save the actual everything because, you think you need to save everything in this case. No, I didn't think so, to be quite honest with you. But I ran the VIN because there's like free places you could run those things. And it shows the history. I have a screenshot of it that somebody else took, but because I can't verify everybody after who owned it, I never want to put it out there. Because I'm not 100% sure that's what I saw, but I saw when the car was sold and to who. So, yeah, it was because when people found the car, they went out there and videotaped and took pictures and stuff so we could run the VIN on it.
Right. And there, like I said, there's 20,000 of these vehicles, the same vehicle. Then, there's just so many little things that have come up and out about this. It's crazy. Clue found well, it was in a video, a green car when they were tearing the house down, the same vehicle that had been wrapped because the initial car was originally white.
Mhm.
It was wrapped in green, okay, but it's the same cut. It was the same car, another white one. But again, that's one of the 20,000. And people started going, "Oh my God, that's who it's that person because that's why they wrapped the car to hide it." Blah blah blah. Again, you have to be careful with all the rumors, but these coincidences are that they make it hard to not see these things for what they could be. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I believe that car, by the way, the wrapped one was owned by a woman.
Yeah,
So that's
yeah.
why people kind of dropped that pretty fast.
No, we didn't find all 20,000. That was who put that number out. I can't remember who put that out.
The police.
The police did.
Yeah, I thought it was law enforcement said that
Yeah.
there are over 20,000 of them that they found.
Yeah.
Yes, it was proven that it was. Annie says, "Oh, we proved it was rap." How did that come about, Clue?
Mark B actually was up there
Mm-hmm.
and got the VIN off of it, showing
And
that it
when he
had
ran it, it came back as a white
car. Yeah.
white Elantra. And honestly, I mean, to paint, okay, it could have been painted or wrapped. I'm just saying, one of the two things happened. Typically, people wrap them nowadays. They don't paint
I'm
them.
pretty sure it's a wrap.
Right.
I mean, and honestly, would you want to drive around with a white Hyundai Elantra after, after this in that
Oh,
area?
I knew Salty. I just wanted to make sure that anybody looked at that and they would
Yeah.
understand. But I know what you're saying, Salty. But yeah, I'm just saying there's so many odd coincidences that have came out. Now, there's been a lot of people that have said things that have absolutely no weight, no bearing. So please be careful the things you do hear if you go listening to it. If you have questions, you can ask anybody that's pretty much in this Clue, Golf, Salty. The facts are the facts, and you'll be given facts on it because there's so many things that were twisted that we had to pull the facts out of it and try to put them back out there. This channel, my channel, I would allow people come in here to say things, and then people were running with it because I allow people to speak their opinions. It got bad, so
Yeah.
it got really bad at one point.
We have had much better, at least for a couple of us, since we had these hearings, and since
Mhm.
we can compare the PCA and stuff like that. So everything, at least what we base it on, is those facts that come out in hearings and in the PCA.
Yeah, and then
Couple
there's a lot of other stuff that came out, videos, and oh my God, it got so bad with people
mainstreaming.
seeing things in reflections of vehicles, and it just went so far off to the left. It was so bad.
By the way, I'm doing my first live tomorrow.
You got a
What?
channel?
Yeah, I mean, I had a channel, but I never had anything on it. 8 o'clock. I have 9 subscribers. So
Well,
welcome home.
where's your link at, Golf?
Hold on, let me get it for you. I don't even know my
Please do. You know, I
channel.
support anybody that's got newer
I
channels.
have
Come
a
on
very
now.
special guest, Rory, tomorrow.
Oh, you've talked to Rory?
Yep. I have a very special guest, so I can only put it in your private chat because I can't
No, put it in there, and then I'll give it to.
Yeah.
We'll drop it in the thing. It's fine. That's perfect.
That's my
Absolutely.
little YouTube channel, and I'm gonna go live. I'm a little bit anxious about it. I hope everything works out.
Oh, you'll be good if you have any. I mean, you've done this
You're
before.
gonna do amazing.
No, I've never done this before.
So if you have any questions, please ask. I will do
Thank you,
everything I can do to help you.
Everyone is welcome.
And I just subscribed. Hold on here.
Thank you.
Let me see if I can put it in the chat now.
We are, I'm keeping it factual. That's my main
Absolutely.
prerogative.
Best way to do it. Best way to do it. All right, there it is. That is Golf Inspector. There is her link. Please, guys, please. She's been around for a long time, and she's very vested in this case as well as quite a few others. Go show some love, subscribe if you will, and I promise, just from the things we've heard from her here and at other channels, you will not be disappointed. She's very knowledgeable and very grounded, folks. So please show some love, some support, and go over there and hit the like and subscribe, please, if you will.
Thank you, Dago, and thank you everyone in chat for subscribing.
Yes,
Maybe
yes.
I'll have 10 people in there tomorrow. Woohoo!
Well, if I can remind myself, I will definitely pop over there and I will be there with you.
Yeah. And we'll talk a little bit with Rory, and then we'll talk, a little Idaho and this and that because obviously of the hearings today. So it will
What'd
be
you think? What'd you think of that today?
I mean, that was heck of a confusing hearing, I have to say. It was like this man, to me, it felt like the FBI just dropped the ball on him. He didn't know what he was doing. He had like what 24/16 a week worth of 5 days worth of learning a software that is really just copy paste,
Mhm.
into and it seemed like he didn't understand it too good and didn't know how to use it. And he did it in 2019, and then he got some extra education, I guess, in March
Well,
of 2023. So he was very confused
what about the fact that he didn't look at any of this stuff supposedly till
until
yesterday?
yesterday. Yeah, yeah. That's scary to me. Like, do they really have more information or what is going on there?
How much more? That's my thought. I was going to say that
Yeah.
earlier. How much more stuff is in there that has not been looked at?
Yep.
And laziness. It sounds like laziness and negligence, in my opinion.
And they didn't collect like all the video evidence. Like, did you look at it?
I know.
That's
Like,
scary. That's to
Hmm.
me, it this man,
I
I
think
don't have any confidence in him, let me just say.
I think Anne's being very calculated, and I think this is just the beginning of her exposing possible more.
Mhm.
That's just my opinion. Again, there could be nothing else like this that happens. I just feel like it's going to. She seems very ultra confident, like she did today when she was questioning him, knowing what his answers were going to be, and you could almost see the embarrassment on him when he's answering these questions of, I screwed up. I
Yeah.
screwed up. I screwed up. And here we are. And she was proud. Good. As she should be, because this is very much helping her case. So
Yep. And I was looking mostly at the judge's face, to be honest with you, and that
yeah.
was very telling to me. Like he was like he couldn't he almost he was like, I can't believe this.
Like Salty claimed kind of earlier, I kind of felt like he was proud of Ann because like she said, he kind of told her before, bring it to me. Let me
Yeah.
see it. Bring it. Well, she's been bringing it. And I'm telling you, it looks kind of like he's a little proud of her.
Yeah. And I think now I could be wrong, but she ran back there and she talked to someone, and I'm hoping that was Sai.
Uh-huh.
Um,
I
I was
think so.
hoping like that
Well,
was
we'll know for sure when Twiz appears, because he was there. I believe
yeah.
he was in the back of the courtroom behind Ann. So we'll see
So
what
yeah,
he says.
that's my thought on today in a nutshell.
And it was
What
interesting. It was definitely interesting. Thank you, Wisdom. Again, anybody, real quick, I haven't really said a lot of it, but we do have merch here now for anybody. A lot of people ask for it. Click that link. It takes you to Printify, and you can pick up a shirt, a hoodie, a coffee cup. That's all we have so far. But you can get the shirts and hoodies in any color, I believe. And if you want to wear a little piece of the True Crime Cafe or drink some coffee out of it, there it is, guys.
cool. I'll go
And
check.
just check it out. I'll be getting mine soon. So, and I think Doodle got one for sure. Kim Marin picked one up. JC picked one up. That way you'll be able to see what they look like when I get mine. Pretty decent shirts from my understanding. Clue gets her stuff through there too. Thank you again, Clue, for showing me the place. Oh yeah, Sai and his wife have a damn YouTube. Do they really? I didn't know that. Yes, I did know that. Somebody told me that. I think it was Twiz. There he is. Speaking of, boom.
Twiz,
Speak his name, he appears.
come up
What
here.
is up,
Twiz.
my friend? Come on up here, dude. There is not the link. Don't click on that link. What the hell did I just do?
That was probably my
It
channel.
was that was Golf's link. Sorry. Hold on. All right, there's the link, sir. Come on up here for a minute, bro. I always like to hear, even whether or not he's there or not, what he thinks at least of what it was.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
He's
you're
on.
on Dinky's right now. Okay. Well, I don't know how much longer I'll be up here, bud. Oh, okay. Real quick, then, if you can hear me, were you in the courtroom today? I'd like a Kohberger United football jersey. Well, I don't know. I'm not. I can't say. Yeah, it's okay, bud. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure he was there for sure. That's fine, brother. We will can see you on camera. Okay. I thought I saw, but I wasn't sure. I'm right to the left of BK stroking my beard. That's what I thought. Okay. So he was there. Good.
Did you see Cy? Was Cy there? Twiz. Twiz.
Yeah, Twiz, was Cy there? We probably will be going in here tomorrow, guys, coming in here and breaking down like I do usually the day after these hearings. That was defense PI, I believe. Okay. And was Cy there? Yeah, was Cy there, Twiz? Anyway, we will be breaking down the hearing and talking about it. Little piece here, little piece there. It would get everybody's thoughts and feelings and what we see. So,
No, I guess he wasn't there. He will be there on the 30th. I thought maybe he had shown up for it, but okay. So it was maybe the
suspect vehicle too. We don't talk to people that way in here. That's rude, and I don't. That's warning. One warning is all you get. Norma says, "I'm sorry, but I feel every time you mention it could be a locals, people get upset." I think I understand you. You meaning it could be somebody else that's involved rather than Bryan in this local? You're welcome to that opinion. Everybody is. So don't worry about that, Norma, at all. You're fine. Some people don't like to hear that. I get it. Okay. But in here, you're welcome to say or feel how you feel. Okay. As long as everybody uses commonsensical thoughts and doesn't put any crazy stuff out, yeah, you have every right to your feelings and your opinions in here, folks. You know, I'm not gonna sit here and welcome anybody saying I saw the aliens in the Banfield. I know what happened. Like we can't go there, guys. We've been in some holes and some of them are deep. So let's try to stay out of there and keep factual. They
So we're not going down. We're not going down the alien line. We're not gonna.
No. We've been down further, deeper, way worse things than that. They had no plans for travel on the. Wait a minute. Responded to my comment last week saying that they had no plans for travel on the 23rd.
In the library with the candlestick.
I'm a little lost on that one, buddy. I don't know what you mean, Twiz. Hold on a minute.
What did you think of the hearing today, Clue?
Just, I don't know. It seems like that guy was either ill prepared or, I don't know, it's just like a deer in the headlights. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's exactly what it felt like.
He was really, really kind of. I mean, he had to know she was going to call him out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean,
maybe he didn't know she was going to do it like that. I don't know, but she really did a job. She did her job. I got to say that much. So,
yeah,
it was impressive on her side. She's really, really, in my opinion, she's really been stepping up these past few hearings. And I think, at least in my opinion, I think it's going to get better. And it's going to reveal some more stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And if nothing else, at the very least, it's going to show what I believe to be. Oh, okay. Cy had no travel plans to be there. Thank you, Bobby. I get it now. At the very least, it's going to show the negligence that we have all kind of called out from the beginning on law enforcement side of this. Laziness, negligence, incompetence in some ways. Now, if they can come off with a answer to how and why that all went down like that, I'll listen, but I don't think it's going to make a difference. That's a good question, Firefly. Why would he wait until the day before to gather everything? Well, like I just said, laziness. They and somebody else said it earlier that they believed that Mowry was doing somebody else's job. The lead detective, possibly, So hello,
Well,
Miss Leslie. I just saw you, dear. I'm sorry. Welcome back.
I wonder that too, to be honest with you, because he couldn't even define his role in this when she asked.
Yeah, that's
So
why I made that assumption,
yeah,
And I can't get past how he pretended to play dumb.
you
Unless
think that was pretend?
I think he was playing dumb. I really do. When he was saying, like, when she's asking specific questions and he's going, huh? What do you mean? I don't understand. What do you mean? What we heard the same thing you heard, bro. Answer the question. Everybody's gonna look down on you as it is because you didn't do something you were supposed to do. This is the biggest case ever. Okay, at least out here. You got to do things the right way. You got to do your job, and if it's not your job, then make that person that's supposed to be doing it do their job. That's all. Well, and yeah, I was gonna say that earlier too, Sal. Possible laziness, but possibly understaffed and not trained and inexperienced. But here's the thing. Let's say that those are the reasons, Sal. Understaffed, not trained, and experienced. We know that they probably don't have experience in a case like that. Most people don't. Then you call in somebody that does. Okay, immediately.
And they did.
Let them handle it. So they did. So what's the problem there then?
That's a good question. So why is the FBI dumping them, like dumping this on them, basically? That's a good question. If they can't stand behind their work, I don't know. Because obviously the man did not have the experience. 5 days worth of cast, right? That's just not, that doesn't.
Screenshots by that.
Yeah.
How about that? Screenshots, folks.
Yeah. Forget to get this and forget to do that. So yeah, no, there's definitely lack in training. That's for sure. That's not even made up. He confessed to it, But the better question, like you said, is the FBI. They just dumped them. Totally.
Well, and that's the thing is the FBI, they're gonna laugh at this and say, okay, and moving on. They don't care. We know that they don't care. They don't care what anybody thinks. They do what they do because they can do what they want to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So who's to say that? Go ahead.
I gotta drop. I gotta go mod for Sarge.
Well, I'm about to shut this down anyway. So thank you, Clue, for being up here, Cletus. Golf Inspector.
Thank you.
Again, guys, don't forget Golf Inspector. I'll see you in a few, Clue. Don't forget that that Golf Inspector will be live tomorrow evening, 8 p.m. Is it Eastern time? Golf.
It's Central, so Eastern 9.
9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. So,
yeah,
please, guys, if you haven't, please go check it out. I'm going to drop that link one more time.
Thank you.
And Golf Inspector is a very big piece of this community and has been for a long time. We love and respect her very much.
And we have Rory reappearing. Yay.
Yes, we all get to speak with Rory. Maybe I'll get to talk to him tomorrow too. Who knows?
Yeah.
It's been a while. But there's the link, guys. Please check it out. Show some love. Subscribe. You won't be. I lost my complete train of thought. Disappointed. Thank you very much. And again, BFH or Truth, as we all know him. Thank you for joining me, sir. He also has a new channel that he's gone live on a couple times, I do believe now.
Cool.
Odds, if we can drop his link too, guys, please go over there, subscribe. He needs more support than he has. He's got a lot of insight, a lot of info. Very solid conversationist. I agree. and I have a lot of respect for him as well. So please go over there and support his channel as well, guys, if you will. You won't be disappointed. I remembered at that time as well. Thank you both. Are you still here?
I'm
Truth?
still here. Oh,
Golf,
sorry.
you're here, Golf. Truth, are you even here? Yeah, there
Yes,
you are.
I'm here.
Okay, I didn't know. You were very quiet.
Well, y'all were talking.
Anyway, thank you guys again at Truth.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. Again, if we can drop Truth's link in the chat real quick, please. I appreciate that. Both of you, thank you very much. Mad respect for you both, and I will see you both very soon. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Have a great night. And everybody in chat, much love to you guys. Thank you so much for joining me. Again, my apologies. There it is, his link right there. Thank you, Doodle, as always. My apologies again for coming in here in such a rush. That was my fault. My timing was way screwed up. So thank you guys for being here. Don't forget, guys, to love yourselves and love each other. Please don't change anything about yourselves, folks. As always, because you are the beautiful people. You are the reason I do this and why I come back every single day. Much love to you all, guys. Have a great night, guys, and God bless. See you soon. Bye-bye. For those of you that follow, please, guys, go check out Yaw News Network, your Astro News Network with Sarge and Kalidas, guys. Go check them out. Go check them out. I'll see you guys soon. Thanks again. Have a great night.